Okay. I don't know. Look like I'm kind of blurry here. Let's see here. All right. Looks like I'm blurry. Ooh, Lord, this is my first time using StreamYard. But anyway, welcome to Tell the People. I'm Sunny. Welcome to my live stream. We're gonna talk about Project 2025. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna go ahead and just start streaming a video about the Heritage Foundation and try to figure out why I'm so blurry. What is it? No, that ain't it. Anyway, so this I'm gonna go ahead and start streaming the conversation that one of the presidents of the Heritage Foundation had with some MNSBC, I think so, MSNBC moderators or reporters. It's about 13 minutes long. Please look at it, and then we're going to go over the Project 2025. So here he goes. Let me stop myself on this cam.
President Trump is going to make decisions about policy in his administration if he wins. Project 2025 is something that's going to transcend the next 4 years, the next 10 years. It really is, for the first time in the history of the conservative movement, the apparatus for policy and personnel. It's the most important thing to remember.
I have one follow-up. It's just that you have said that this plan is about institutionalizing Trumpism. So, because I also know you all, not just the president of the Heritage Foundation, you're also president of the Heritage Action, which is the political action committee. And so, is it tied to Trump or not?
I said the context for that comment to the New York Times was that the work of the Heritage Foundation was to institutionalize Trumpism. Trumpism as a new version of conservatism that recognizes that by every objective measure, the United States is weaker in 2024 than it was in 1984. We also happen to think that's reversible, by the way. We're ultimately optimists. And by institutionalizing Trumpism, what we're saying is that even though we are known as Ronald Reagan's think tank, I'm the son of the Reagan Revolution, I'm very proud of that. But that's 40 years ago, and we need to understand what Trump is in America. And right now, Donald Trump, whether someone likes it or not, I happen to like it, is the standard bearer for conservatism.
Well, Michael, what time is
it? I don't think it's time for Trumpism in that regard, because one of the things that, as a lifelong follower and participant in Heritage, having spoken at various times there in the roles that I've played in the party, I see this as a dramatic shift away from those Reagan-esque principles when you have someone like Trump who has advocated some of the things he has. But before we get to that, I want to get to the nub of this, because you can't really do anything until you remove what has been identified as the problem, and that is 50,000 federal employees. Axios quoted, quote, the massive headhunting quest aims to recruit 20,000 people to serve in the next administration as a down payment on 4,000 presidential appointments plus potential replacements for as many as 50,000 federal workers who are policy adjacent, as Trumpers put it. Policy adjacent to what? I mean, you're talking about people who've been in federal government. My daddy was a federal government employee, so I would be really appalled thinking that he could be on someone's chopping block because they think he is part of some deep state effort. Talk to us about what that looks like. If Heritage is calling for removing 50,000 federal employees, who are you replacing them with? And where do they come from? I mean, even if it's not 50,000, if it's 10,000, if it's 2,000, where are they coming from, and who are you replacing them with? Because I suspect a lot of those people you're talking about have been in the federal service for a long time and have served not just Republican administrations, but also Democratic administrations, et cetera. They have. And 95% of them who give political contributions give them to the Democratic Party. I reject that again, Michael. You're going to fire someone because they wrote a check to a Democratic candidate?
No, we're going to fire hire someone and the number needs to be more than 50,000, considering that there are more than 2 million federal employees, because over the last century, the radical left has seen the administrative state as the fourth branch of government. They're unelected bureaucrats. Nothing against your dad, obviously, you're a human being. You know that about me and Heritage. But ultimately, we have to devolve power from the imperial
But
city
you
of
would
Washington
fire
back
my
to the
dad
people.
because he wrote a check to a Democratic candidate without any appreciation or understanding where his political allegiance
We
or
will
alliances
dramatically
are. Why does
reform
that matter?
agencies that take
If they're
rights
doing
away
their
from
job,
people.
why does that matter?
They're doing their job about a mission that's misaligned. For example, the U.S. Department of Education. Thankfully, President Trump deserves credit for saying that he wants to end the Department of Education. That means that employees in that agency, even if they've been serving that mission with great competence, will have to go look for another job. What's more important than that, Michael, is that we actually have a delivery mechanism for education in this country that reflects the 21st century. So at Heritage, we see this a very different way. You want to look at it from the lens of unelected bureaucrats, most of whom, not your dad, I guess, who want to say that they are more important than the everyday American. We want to look at it from the standpoint of the everyday American and say it's time that they are put in the driver's seat rather than unelected bureaucrats.
Yeah, but they aren't going to be in the driver's seat because they aren't going to be doing the jobs. The folks you're identifying who are Trump aligned are the ones who are going to be coming in.
You are positing that those people are incompetent. And I can tell you from looking at the resumes of the 11,000 that they're very well
as much
qualified.
as you're thinking I'm positing these people are incompetent, you're positing that they're somehow executing a nefarious agenda.
Some of them are.
Why
Why does the Environmental Protection Agency have 300?
Have you identified them?
If I could interject, because I did actually work for the federal government, I
As
worked
did
with
I.
a number, as did the chairman, and I worked with a number of those we call them civil servants in the United States government, people who are not political appointees, and they have the institutional
They
knowledge.
acted that way.
Well, I think Alicia has a question along those lines about one of the policy priorities that you all have identified in Project 2025.
I actually, Dr. Roberts, have a question about this upcoming election. Is your organization going to accept the results of the 2024 presidential election?
I believe that Dr. Roberts can't hear, so Alicia just asked, is your organization going to accept the results of the 2024 election, regardless of the outcome?
Yes, if there isn't massive fraud like there was in 2020.
What does that mean?
If there isn't massive fraud.
Do you believe that there was not massive fraud? in
There
2020?
was massive fraud. We have an
Where
election
was
fraud database that has documented that over years. By the way, the Heritage Foundation has been concerned about election integrity for decades, not just about 2020. We've been documenting this problem for a very long time. And if one of the
I believe, according to the Heritage Foundation, sir, by your count, Heritage Foundation has done an investigation, and according to your count, there have been 1,513 proven instances of voter fraud across the United States since 1982.
yeah, that's probably
1,513.
They're very hard to document. And the Democrat Party is very good at fraud. The key thing here, which I think we would both agree on, is that we aspire at the Heritage Foundation to seeing a poll after this election where every American believes their vote was counted. I care as deeply about someone on the political left with whom I disagree, saying that they have confidence in the outcome of the election. It seems rather than turn this into a partisan conversation, which you do a good job of at MSNBC, we might say we aspire to something more noble, which is that every American believes their vote counted.
I mean, I don't think it's partisan to ask if you'll accept the results of the election. Alicia, I don't know, can you hear Alicia now?
Yeah,
Alicia, do you have another
I
question?
can hear. I do have another question. I'm specifically interested in Dr. Roberts, to the deportation of immigrants in this country. Just understanding sort of how it is going to work when we talk about folks on the interior, how you see a future administration utilizing the National Guard, ICE, police forces to deport something like 11 million people.
Could you hear? So she is asking about immigration and how you see immigration, how in this plan, how you talk about using like the National Guard to deport individuals. Like, what is the Alicia, and you tell me if I am adequately
People on the interior
summarizing.
specifically.
People
not
on
the
the
border.
interior specifically, not people in the border, people within this country.
Well, first of all, we need to close the border. And secondly, we need to have the biggest mass deportation system ever in the history of America, because it is unjust and illegal and evil that more than 10 million illegal aliens have come to this country. It's imperative that we send those people back, invite them back to come through the legal system. We love immigrants at Heritage, but we also love the rule of law.
So how do you plan to carry that out?
Well,
Are you talking about going door to door? Because that's what I can read from the plan, but I think
the first thing is that there's going to be a lot of self-deportation. The interesting thing is, you know, is
So
that
that's what
simply
I mean. I can
talking
read
about
from the
this
plan.
and beginning to implement a plan, and President Trump deserves a lot of credit for talking about this, causes people to say, I don't want to run the risk of being arrested for doing something illegal. But secondly, there are great plans using the Department of Homeland Security to return these people back to south of the border. The great thing is, even a majority of people on the political left agree with this because they see the damage that this has done.
Well, just before we go,
I think we want to take a couple more minutes.
Yeah,
So I
I
know
just
we're being
wanna
told to
ask
wrap,
you
but we
quick,
want to take a few more minutes.
I'll stay as long as
no, just ask you real quick. So what do these people do? What are they doing now? The folks, the 11 million, 20 million, whatever you want to do for them.
A lot of them are committing crimes like murdering the 12-year-old girl in Houston.
Mm.
In fact,
So
we're
that's
very
one, that's
concerned about
one out of 11 million. What
what is
is
the remaining time of the segment, and I can give you a lot
In
of
Texas,
examples.
undocumented immigrants were 37.1% less likely to be convicted of a crime. Undocumented immigrants, and according to a survey, University of California Riverside study, 33% less likely to be in prison as of 2021. I'm just giving the numbers.
Well, what do you tell the parents of those people, those young girls who were killed? This is
I mean,
the
what
preponderance of these people,
what is the difference between an illegal immigrant who unfortunately engages in that activity?
And we don't like that. I want to be clear. We don't use the term illegal. So
We don't
undocumented individuals.
Undocumented individuals versus anyone else who commits the same crime. Well, I mean, so what you're saying is because you have this instance of individuals behaving badly, that's a reflection of every individual in that community, and that's just not the case.
No, what is the case is that because the
I
preponderance
mean, what percentage of those people, the 11 million that you want
answer
for?
your question,
I just want to clarify my question. That's what I'm trying to do. What percentage of those individuals that you want to get rid of, move out of the country, actually commit crimes?
our analysis in Texas, Georgia, and New York shows that a preponderance of the illegals who have come in
I don't know what's that number.
are unattached male, and there are unattached males, and the disproportionate number of them are people who are not even making any attempt to be illegal.
What is that number?
Obviously,
are you
a large
talking
number
10
of
out
them
of 1,000, or are you talking, I'm just trying to get
Well, I just would say, and if Alicia were sitting here and you could hear her, she would say that you are weaponizing a horrific murder to smear 11 million people.
That is
And
a
that is
laughable
what is
assertion. What Joe Biden is doing is weaponizing the entire.
Before we let you go, Dr. Roberts, I do want to ask you about abortion because it is a an issue that is at the top of mind for folks all over this country right now, waiting on a case from the Supreme Court in Tala. In Louisiana, in places all over this country, abortion care is unavailable to people that may need it. You and the organization in this plan talked about changing the Department of Health and Human Services to the Department of Life. Do you think that women in America should be able to get an abortion if that is what their doctor says they need?
Abortion is not health care. I find it really interesting, if not worse, that you wouldn't support the change of the department name to the Department of Life. I thought we were all in support of life. We believe eminently in women's rights, and particularly women's rights in the womb. And so the real question that you should be asking.
I just want to know, if I may, though, because I do ask the question.
Talking about the people
I just want to
who
know,
are
do you
supporting
believe
legislation that abortion can happen until 3 days after the person is born? This is an absurd framing by this network.
that is an absurd assertion? As a person with an
Really?
actual womb, I'm telling you that does happen.
So
But let me just back up.
legislators in
do
California,
you
Virginia,
all,
New York, who
Dr.
actually
Roberts,
filed this bill.
does Heritage and Project 2025 believe that a woman should be able to have an abortion if her doctor says that she needs one? It's a yes or no question.
Abortion is not health care.
So
Abortion
that is
is
a
the
no?
murder of a human being.
Okay. So he is the president of the Heritage Foundation, which is the people that are who have created Project 2025. Okay, it's like I said before, it's a 920-page document manifesto of the conservative right-wing base, and it's very, very, very scary, guys. Let me get this off the screen. How did I do this? Yeah, very, very scary. So I said I was going to do this. I will drop the link. I'm gonna go over a few things, and I'm going to drop the link for whoever wants to come up and talk about it, because I think it's very important that everyone knows what Project 2025 is. I think a lot of people don't have an understanding, nor do they know what Project 2025 is. So, since the big rumor going around is that they're trying to replace Joe Biden because he's not equipped to be president because he's too old, let me tell you, President Biden is not too old to be president. He just had a bad day. Okay. When you're standing there, and I said this before, when you're standing there up against a person that is just spewing a bunch of lies and deceitful, mean, hateful things, rhetoric that Trump was spinning, of course, you're going to get tongue tied because uh, Biden came there to have a debate about the issues. Trump came there to lie. Okay. So if you're going to vote, and I hope that you do, because it's imperative that you do, because your freedoms and your liberties, your civil liberties are on stake here. This is very important. I can't say it enough how important this election is. This election is more important than the last election. Okay. Let me get this man off my screen, child. I'm using StreamYard right now, so this is my first time using StreamYard. Val said, "Woman's rights in the womb. A woman can't fit in the womb." And abortion after a baby is born, I've never heard of that before. They're aborting a baby after 3 days after the baby's like that. That's illegal. That's murder. If a child is born into the world and then you kill it, I guess that's what he's trying to say. It's illegal. Can't do that. So it's the propaganda that these people spew, and they've been doing it since the Reagan age. Because I was reading some of this Project 2025, and they've been doing it since Reagan. They are the ones who put Reagan into. Um, Reagan was following the Heritage Foundation's protocol, so to speak, and I do not know how to work this damn thing. And did that wrong. And hold on, there we go. And what Reagan did, I mean, this is Pride Month, so happy Pride to anyone that's here that's LGBTQ plus community. Happy Pride Day. We appreciate you here, and thank you for shining your light onto the world and being yourselves. I appreciate it because I have LGBTQ plus friends and family, and I've learned a lot from them, and I appreciate them and love them because they have, shined their light in my life. And, I can always say that I've had the best times, honest conversations with my friends and loved ones. And I bring that up because in the 80s, when the Heritage Foundation uh, actually had a lot to do with Reagan's administration, um, times were tough. In the 70s, it was good. People were coming out. They were fighting for their rights. And then when the 80s came along, the Heritage Foundation and Reagan found a way to stop that. And there was a lot of hatred and things like that. So what we're dealing with right now is history basically repeating itself, right? Because history repeats itself if you don't know what is going on. So that's why it's very important to get out here and vote. Um, like I said, our civil liberties and our civil freedom is on the stake. It's on the line. If you don't get out and vote, because sitting on the couch is not an option. And voting for uh, Jill Stein, I think that's those Joan, whatever. No, Miss Stein is her name. If you're voting for her, you're voting for the enemy. If you're voting for Kennedy, you're voting for Trump. I can't say it enough. It's very important that uh, if you want to hold on to your civil rights, uh, I hope when you get to the voting booth, you make the right decision, because you don't have to think about Joe Biden being the president. Just think about Project 2025. And once we go over this, and it may take us a couple of days to go over because, like I said, this is a 920-page document. All righty. So let me show you. All right. So here we go. Going to share my screen. Project 2025. Let me show myself if I can. So I can. There we go. Okay, hi everybody. So Project 2025 tells you here. This is Trump allies 920-page plan to give Trump more power over your daily life, gut the Democratic checks and balances, and consolidate power into the Oval Office. Okay. Project 2025 is the plan by Donald Trump's MAGA Republican allies to give Trump more power over your daily life, gut the Democratic checks and balances, and consolidate power in the Oval Office if he wins. Trump's campaign advisors and close allies wrote it and are doing everything they can to elect him so he can execute their playbook immediately. Like I said, these are the same people who gave Reagan his plan while he was in office, because Reagan probably didn't have a plan either, right? And neither does Trump. So we know when he was, let me turn on my things, I'm having a flash. When he was in office, when Reagan was in office, he put forth a plan that the Heritage Foundation set for him. And this is what's going to happen when Trump gets in office, if he gets in office. The man at the beginning of the film, or in the beginning of the video that I just showed, he said that he's calling it Trumpism, but it's actually the Heritage Foundation. It is their plan for Trump. That's why when Trump was at the debate, he didn't have anything, because he hasn't read over it. He's just going by the bullet points that they're telling him to say, right? So there's no such thing as aborting a baby after it's been born 2 days. That doesn't happen. That's a lie. Okay. So anyway, here's a taste of Trump's Project 2025. He's going to take away reproductive freedom nationwide. He uses the presidency for revenge on Trump's political and personal enemies. So it's true. Terminates the Constitution. He said he wanted to do that in a rally that he had. Consolidates power in the Oval Office. He's going to gut Democratic checks and balances on a presidential power. That means that he wants to be a dictator, right? And as right now, as we speak, you have the Supreme Court basically going to make a decision on if Trump is immune or if he has immunity. So we've already heard, if you haven't heard, they've already basically taken away some of the charges against some of the January 6th rioters. Gives handouts to the ultra wealthy, paid by working class families, which he did that when he was in office too, right? So basically, he's going to cut the taxes for the wealthy. Where did Project 2025 come from? The highest levels of the MAGA Trump elite wrote Project 2025 as a blueprint for Trump to implement it if he wins a second term. The same group of advisors and allies got Trump to adopt most of their agenda in 2017. Okay. But this time, their Project 2025 agenda is even more extreme and dives into almost every aspect of Americans' daily life. And they'll be able to accomplish it by firing civil servants and installing loyalties into the federal government to do their bidding. So this, what they mean by this is, when they come in, when he's elected, they're going to go in and they're going to start getting rid of federal, hello, Mel, federal government, federal employees that are already there. And they're going to put in the MAGA, the deep state MAGA people that believe in Trump and believe in this agenda. If you go look at Project 2025, not this version, but the 900 pages, it will tell you that this man, the president, said it when I showed the video. You will hear, you'll just rewind it. He's telling you that's what they're going to do. Okay. And a lot of this is already happening, right? So, like in Oklahoma a couple of days ago, they've already passed the law saying that every student, every teacher in every classroom in the state of Oklahoma will have a Bible placed at their desk, and they must teach from the Bible. I don't know what happened to the separation of, you know, uh, church and state, but this is what we're doing. They're banning books. They've already banned books, so it's already begun. So let's see. Going to consolidate presidential power for Trump's own revenge and retribution. Donald Trump promises to be a dictator on day one if he is elected and claims there will be a bloodbath if he loses. We know what that means. They're going to have another coup. Trump and his allies are threatening to prosecute his political opponents if he wins another term. Trump has made the violent January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol a cornerstone of his campaign, and he has promised to pardon and free the criminals who violently attacked the Capitol under his encouragement, knowing that this will only encourage more violence. He has threatened to deport protesters exercising their free speech rights. He has shared videos online that call for violence against journalists and unified right. Has threatened to defund law enforcement agencies and go after law officers who dare to stand in his way. And Project 2025 outlines a plan to reclassify thousands of federal workers so they can easily be fired by Trump for simply not doing his wishes. I guess that's on page 80, honey, other thing. Okay. Okay. So basically, when I listened to Steve Bannon, who's supposed to be going to jail next week, I think on the 11th or something like that, and I do believe Trump is going to be sentenced by the New York judge on the 11th as well for uh, what is it for? Because he got so many of them. The 34 felonies. Okay. Okay. So basically, what they're saying is that they're going to go in, they're going to fire everybody because they think that they have to do that. Because some of the GOP people that are there, they don't want them there. They want Trump people. They want people that believe in Trump. So he wants to arrest and disable the homeless, but let national terrorists go free. Yeah, it's crazy. And they're doing that too. They don't want the Supreme Court passed the law where the homeless people can't sleep on the street. And our mayor said they're not doing it. They're not going to do that because people follow upon hard times. They have nowhere to go. We're not doing it. We have a lot of homeless people here, and most of them are Black people. A lot. Okay, Trump and his allies are planning a massive expansion of presidential power with plans to restructure the government and concentrate power in Trump's hands. So concentrate power into Trump's hands to me means dictatorship. Donald Trump and his MAGA allies will empower themselves to fire and replace independent civil servants across the government with extreme MAGA loyalties, turning independent government employees with specialized technical expertise, such as the people who keep our food safe, working for the American people, into political creatures implementing his extremist agenda. These loyalties test was stretched to national security personnel and beyond. So it's telling you what pages. That's page 51. And let me also say this. I had a hard time trying to find the original documents, because if you go to Project 2025, they literally have where you have to sign up. And I believe you're signing up for like a class so they can teach you. This is if you're a diehard Trump fan that want to join this institution. You sign up for it. I guess they're going to vet you and then they allow you to come in. And I guess somebody did all of that and they printed it. They put it online. So I have the original copy that I had to find. Donald Trump has plans to bring historically independent agencies directly under his control, including the Department of Justice, to use law enforcement to punish his enemies and protect his cronies. So when I hear that, I think about them walking the street, right? This is dictatorship. So anybody black voting for Donald Trump, y'all need to come over here and or share this with your black friends, and especially your black male friends who like to walk around, smoke weed, do whatever they think they're gonna do, because I voted for Trump. That's my, he's a felon like me, or whatever that mess y'all want to put out there. This man is basically saying, this document is basically saying that, oh yeah, we're gonna put the police out there on the street because we're not gonna have any crime, right? So basically, they can storm the to get to go out here and protest like Black Lives Matter did, right? There won't be any more protests, especially from people of color. There will be no more uh just freedoms. The freedom to do, what we've been doing thus far. And what your forefathers died for, and the veterans died for when they're fighting against other peoples in different countries, fighting wars for democracy, right? So we'll be under a dictatorship. Donald Trump wants to completely dismantle key departments of the executive branch, including the Department of Education. So why would you want to do that? Because you want people to be dumb, so you can just tell them whatever you need to tell them, because you want the rest of the world to be, or the rest of this country to be like your MAGA fans. I'm just saying. Okay. This is another Trump loyalties here.
What?
Okay, so that's a Trump loyalist. So it says top Trump advocate on Project 2025. The only thing that matters is power. Power. That is all that matters. Checks and balances, question mark. Ha ha ha. After the election, we can implement our agenda. All right. They want to take away your abilities to make your own health care decisions by ripping away reproductive freedom from every American everywhere. Donald Trump brags about abortion bans across the country. What's next is even worse. In 2016, Trump infamously said you have to ban abortion and that there has to be some form of punishment. So anybody who has daughters out here listening, you have friends that have daughters, this is for you. For women who get them, he followed through on his promise. Donald Trump is proudly responsible for overturning Roe versus Wade. ripping away a woman's constitutional right to make her decisions about her own health care. And now, because of Trump, women across America are suffering under MAGA Republicans' barbaric laws that are stripping them of their rights, restricting access to the health care they desperately need, and putting their lives at risk. Trump owns every single attack on reproductive health care, from abortion bans to assault on birth control and stopping IVF treatments. Take it from Trump himself. These bans were only made possible because he delivered everything he promised. This is what he said. He only made everything uh, possible because he delivered everything that he was promised. Because of Trump's bans, women are bleeding out in emergency rooms or forced to travel hundreds of miles to access life saving care. Doctors face life sentences in jail just for providing health care that they were trained to provide. And families' access to IVF treatments is in jeopardy. And Trump calls this a beautiful thing to watch. But what Trump and his extreme allies have planned for a second term is even worse. A national abortion ban, no national protection for fertility treatment, restricting access to contraception for almost 48 million women, making it easier to buy a gun than access some birth control and reproductive care, criminalizing the shipping of abortion medication, building a surveillance state to track women and healthcare providers. Yeah, that's crazy. Use the power of the federal government to crack down on reproductive freedom nationally. I did hear some video where he was saying that the women will be monitored. If you're pregnant, you will be monitored. Okay. And Trump and his allies don't need the help of the Congress or the courts to accomplish this. Um, Joe Biden is standing up to them at every step. Here we go. Listen to this. Top Trump advocate says IVF is immoral, compares it to sexual assault. This echoes the Project 2025 plan to restrict reproductive rights nationwide if Trump wins. Hey. Okay. Was anybody able to hear that? Because just simply said she couldn't hear the video. Can you hear me? Just simply. I don't want to keep reading. Okay. And then there's more. So he's going to give out tax handouts to the ultra wealthy while raising your taxes, terminating your health care, and cutting your social security, and much, much more. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and see if I can drop a link real quick. No, 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 no. How do I get out of this thing? Okay. And like I said, I am using I'll drop a link. Yeah, let me figure this out. That's the one thing I didn't figure out was dropping a link. If anybody knows how to work this StreamYard, please let me know because I can drop a link for people. Let's see. Oh, here it is. Yes. Do I have to upgrade to add guests? So my other one is easier for me to drop a link. I know how to do this. Drop a link on here. But let me talk to you while I try to figure this out. So it is oh, here I see it. Right. So it's very it is very extreme. It is scary. We are dealing with okay, there we go. We are dealing with, like I said earlier, it is very important to know what you're voting for when you go to the booth. And you don't necessarily have to like Joe Biden. You can be nervous because you watched the debate with the rest of us. You can don't like some of his policies, like some of his policies. It doesn't matter. When you go to this booth, you got to think about Project 2025. This is what I'm saying to people. I mean, because Joe Biden is going to be the nominee. They've already said it. You have some people thinking that they're going to get rid of Joe Biden, but whatever. You have some people that don't want him because they don't think he's strong enough. But in fact, I think that he is. I saw him do a video. He basically has sounded good to me when he did the video. Oh, well, he was at a rally or speaking, and he was very strong. His voice wasn't weak. He was strong. Like I said, during the debate, Donald Trump was lying so much. Joe Biden just got confused and just throwed off his game because he went there to have a debate, right? He went there to talk about what he was doing for the country and for the people. And I read some of that before, and I'm not going to stop. I will do a live for sure once a week because I want you all to understand what Joe Biden has done for this country and what he's doing for Black people. Since Black people don't think that he's doing anything for them. Hey Stacy, he's everybody's president. That's what I said about Obama. He's everybody's president. Just not Black people's president. He's everybody's president. And Joe Biden is the same. I happen to like Joe Biden because Joe Biden is doing a lot. I said before he's giving $7.2 billion to HBCUs. He's doing a lot, and I think I don't know what people want. I really don't. Inflation is going down. I think by 2%. That's not much, but it's going down by 2%. It's going down. You have Donald Trump in office. He's talking about taking away taxes. You think inflation is bad. When he takes away taxes, it's going to be worse. You paying eggs went down. I remember when eggs were like $5. They've gone down to $2, $2, $3. You all just have to, don't sit on the couch. I had someone send me a message. Well, I'm sit on the couch in 2024. That's not smart. I'm sitting up here trying to drop this link. Okay. I hope y'all see the link. Did y'all see the link? Y'all let me know if y'all see the link if y'all want to come up and have a discussion. Project 2025 is a scary, scary thing. So and it's not funny. I chuckle because it's unbelievable how we are literally going backwards. We're not moving forward. I remember I played a video about how we climb. It was a Netflix documentary on how we as Black Americans, we go up this hill and we get to the hill and we rock back and forth and then we fall backwards all the time. We never roll forward. And I think a lot of times that a lot of us in our culture, it's like we want somebody to do something for us. And I say that not in a mean spirited way, but in a way to say, and not in a way of saying pull yourself up by the bootstraps. I'm not going to say that because our ancestors built this country. That I know, right? And what we're doing now, because we might not like either candidate, we're just going to sit it out. Are you going to vote? Hey, Lemon, a lot of Black men that are going to vote for Donald Trump. You have Black men, I don't understand it. And it's scary because it's like, what are you doing? It's okay to be conservative, but you be conservative with the right person that, the right candidate. Donald Trump don't like Black people. He don't like Black people. He doesn't like anybody but white people. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm just keeping it 100. This man blatantly said the other day on when he was in the debate, Black jobs, because these illegal aliens are coming to take Black jobs. What are Black jobs? Because see, he don't see us any higher than, there's no way you can be a pilot. You can't be president. He's so mad and angry that Obama was president. How dare that Black man be president? He's not smart enough. They're wiping out Project 2025 is going to wipe out DEI programs. They don't want diversity inclusion. They don't want that. Right? I need people to understand what is happening. So today I just gave you a little bit of this information because what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through this 900-page document, Project 2025, and we're going to go through it. Okay? That's what I'm going to do that. And then if anyone wants to come up, I mean, it's long. And it's 100 and some people that stand by this, that took part into this Project 2025. They're proud of it. And like I said, this has been going on for years. And that was news to me. I didn't know they had anything to do with Reagan, but they did. It states that in the Project 2025. These people have been at it for years. Sonny, Trump continues to play in our face, yet our community thinks they'll get another stimulus check. Well, another stimulus check is not coming along, and that's not going to happen. So, let me say this. First of all, Donald Trump did not want to give out a stimulus check. Okay. Let's remember, we tend to forget a lot. Donald Trump did not want to give out a stimulus check. Hey, Universal Tea with Marie, how are you doing, sweetheart? Thank you. It was the Democrats that gave out that stimulus check while Trump was in office. If you recall, Trump said, I'm not giving out any stimulus checks unless I can put my name on the check. That way people will know that it came from me and they'll remember that I'm the one who signed the bill to pass out the stimulus check. It wasn't him. So, hey, learning to love myself. She said, preach. He only agreed if they put his name on it. Yes, that's it. He didn't give a stimulus check. So whenever you come across your friends who tell you that they're voting for Donald Trump because they want that money, you let them know, no, it was the Democrats that gave you that money. Okay? Because according to Project 2025, that's not going to happen. Okay, they're gonna tell you to pull yourself up on your bootstraps. As a matter of fact, I need you to get out there and pick those oranges and the strawberries and that cotton if they got any cotton fields out there. Because this is where we're coming to. The last time I was on here, last year, the year before, when the election was, I said, "You don't get out and vote. You want to be a slave again?" And that race was so close. No, I don't want to be a slave. No, because nobody wants to be a slave. We're gonna be fighting in the streets. I mean, that's what's going to happen. We're gonna be out here fighting for our lives. If you don't have a plane ticket or a passport to get the hell up out of here, when all this stuff go down, if this man win, they're gonna implement this. When I start reading this stuff to y'all, you're gonna be extremely just like, okay. And people think that y'all, I'm putting fear. I'm not gonna be. Someone said to me, I'm not gonna be scared into voting for Biden. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm just telling you facts. I'm telling you facts of what's happening and what they plan to do. And it's happening right now. It's happening right here while we sit here, do this live. They're planning, okay, they already did the Oklahoma. They already banned books. Okay, what else you need them to ban? Because that's part of their agenda. They don't want it happening. That's why I said, when I first came on, I said, happy Pride to all my LGBTQ people that are watching. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you shining your light. I have tons of LGBTQ friends who I love, who have taught me a lot, had good conversations with me, made me appreciate who they are as a human being, right? I'm not a young chicken. I'm not young. I'm 53 years old. I'm not young. I've lived half my life. And I said this before. We have repeated the 1980s. You know why? Because Heritage Foundation is the one who outlined to Reagan. We are repeating the same thing. It's happening right now. I'm not making this up. I just read it in this manifesto of the Project 2025. They tell you, oh yeah, we're the ones who gave Ronald Reagan this agenda, and we're going to give it to Trump. They don't want no Democratic people, no liberals in the government. None. Zero. They're coming to take your rights. They're coming to take your rights. They're coming to take your civil rights. I mean, it's just that simple. I would love to move to Canada. I love Canada. I would love to move there too. They have started. Look how they are rolling back our civil rights. Thank you, learning to love myself. Okay. Finally, how I put this on the screen. That would show. There you go. Yeah. They are doing it. And they are doing it because we are sitting back and we are not paying attention. When they started banning books, so here we go. Now you're putting the Bible in the classroom. And I wonder which Bible they're putting in the classroom. Are they putting the Holy Bible in the classroom? Or are they putting Donald Trump's Bible that he tried to sell in the classroom? Is that the one they're putting all over in the classrooms in Oklahoma? Where's Queen Tulsa? Sonny, what's also crazy is the predictions from The Simpsons are playing out too from decades ago. I don't even watch The Simpsons, but I have heard that to be true. I've heard about that, but I don't watch that. I didn't know they were still on. Isn't it like that must be the longest running show on television? Yes. Yes. They have been playing chess while we have been playing checkers. Yes. Come on, learning to love myself. They've been playing chess since the 80s. I mean, I was like, when I read that, my mouth just hit the floor. I was like, I had no idea. I had no idea that the Heritage Foundation were the ones that gave Reagan his ruling book, basically, to change the laws. And let me say this too, because I kind of was being attacked last night on because I was looking at Amanda Seals. And I like Amanda Seals, but sometimes I think she goes left too far sometimes, and I'm just like, girl, you need to bring it back. But anyway, someone in her chat, because she was talking about Joe Biden and how they need to replace this man because he's not well. That's not gonna happen. They've already said it's not gonna happen, blah blah blah. And I commented, like, we're not basically, we like Joe Biden, we understand that. But when it comes down to Trump or Joe Biden, I'm voting I'm voting Biden because I don't want Project 2025. Someone in the comment section was like, well, it's already happening. You need to wake up. So I'm like, you need to wake up. Honey, I need to wake up. I know that is happening. And I tried to be civil with the woman, and she just started telling me how stupid I was and blah, blah, blah. Ma'am, first of all, I know what's going on. And you need to wake up. Don't tell me to wake up. I've been woke. You wake up. So it's like, anyway. Banning books. The Ten Commandments as well. Yeah, banning books. He said the Ten Commandments as well in the class. So yeah, and so in Louisiana, they implement putting the Ten Commandments on the wall, right? I heard it was like an 8x12 paper you put on the wall. Whereas in Oklahoma, they are putting the Bible on the desk of every teacher in every classroom in Oklahoma. They must teach from the Bible. I think it's the governor who said that. People, we need to win. There are Supreme Court justices due to retire, and we need to appoint these judges. Exactly. That was going to be my next thing. That the Supreme justices will retire, and Donald Trump will replace those two and maybe add another one. Now you got a problem, right? So if Joe Biden gets elected, he will replace those two, hopefully. And hopefully Clarence Thomas step down. And he will replace him, and then he might add another one, right? So we got to even out this playing field that's going on. It has to be even out because it's what's happening is insane. So this is important. So I'm gonna say this: when you go to the booth to vote, you think about the Supreme Court and you think about Project 2025. If that doesn't change your mind, I don't know what will. I have no idea what's going to, I don't know what will. But it's Project 2025 and Supreme Court. And these people serve life terms. They don't leave. They stay there forever. And I told my kids all of this. I said, learn all you can and be prepared to fight for your lives. Exactly. Be prepared to fight for your lives because it is going to get serious out here. While on active duty, there was a lot of racial tension when Obama, then Trump, was in office. We're supposed to be apolitical. Oh, I didn't know that. Yet the upper echelons of leadership openly showed their disdain for Obama. Mm-hmm. Stacey, is that I think that a lot of people, then I think a lot of those people didn't like Obama because of their racism. Now, I used to always say that. I used to be on Facebook going ham. They didn't like him because he was black, because of their racism. And they always said he's caused race in this country. No, he didn't cause anything. It's your racism that you do not want to claim nor own is what's the problem. It's you. It's not him. You're just mad because a black man became president. Now, this is the time of social media and things like that. So now you have all these bots, these Russian bots that go out, push out all this propaganda about Obama, right? I remember when they were burning little fake Obamas by the stake. They were showing all this kind of stuff. It was horrible, atrocious. Like, why would they do that? That's crazy. Honey, this is ridiculous. I'm just like, this whole thing, this is a black man. He's educated. And first of all, he half white. His mother was white. He was raised by a white family. So that should tell you everything you need, everything about this country, right? And how racist this country and how racist people are. But when you have people who just literally put Trump into office, he's not educated because his education is fake. Everything about this man is false. So he's not educated, right? Um excuse me. He knows nothing about politics. All he knows is I'm a businessman, but he got his money from his daddy to start businesses, right? Trump is a failure. Trump is a failure of all things. Just like 600,000 people, or close to 1 million people died in this country because of him. Inflation is because of him, because of C-19. Right? No one wants to talk about that, but that's why we have inflation today. If he would have handled the business like he was supposed to from the beginning, when C-19 happened, we wouldn't be having inflation right now, right? Because he would have put a stop to it because he had all that stuff was in place for him when Obama left. But he said it was not needed. It was just costing us money. That's what he said. So now it's cost money, but you cost 600 people's lives. This is why he didn't get elected the last time, because those people who lost family members said, well, this man doesn't know what he's doing. I'm not, go drink Clorox. What the hell? Oh, just inject some Clorox into your system and you'll be fine. Oh, when summertime come along, you'll be okay because the heat will kill it. Who wants someone like that running this country? Please tell me. Let me say something. When I came back on here, I had a lot of Trump supporters subscribing to my channel because they didn't know who I was. Okay. They weren't reading my community tab. They were just looking at the videos that I was putting out. And I would just put out, oh, Trump came to Atlanta, 1,000 views, all these likes. I was subscribing to my channel. I'm not a Trump fan, So now I'm losing some, thank God, because I don't want them over here anyway, right? But if you're willing to know what's happening and you think that you're going to vote Trump, you're an independent voter, I welcome you here because I don't have a problem giving facts. It is my duty as an American is to give you facts. I might give you my opinion, but I'm gonna give you the facts first before I tell you what my opinion is. So like I said, it's very important to get out and vote. Everybody that's ever followed me knows that I'm big about that. You don't let your ancestors down who died to get there, to get to the polling booth, to have civil rights. How many people died for civil rights across the board? So when I say that, um, that is important to go out and vote and use your voice. It is important to do that. Now, I never served in the military, but like I said, it's a duty as an American when it comes down to this. I'm going to keep fighting for your rights to keep doing, to get out there and vote. I'm not going to let my ancestors turn over in their grave and look at me like, girl, what are you doing? Just lollygagging like it don't matter, because it matters. People can sit here and tell you that it doesn't matter. It matters. Period. Today I was sitting here thinking, I'm so revved up about it that I'm gonna go ahead and sign up to go volunteer for Joe Biden campaign. If I gotta go knock on doors, whatever, that's what I'll do. If I gotta send out postcards, that's what I'll do. I think that it is very important for us to start using our voice, especially Black people. We pick presidents, we pick people, especially Black women. Okay. We get out here, we are important to this country. Our ancestors built this country, our ancestors died for us to be here. The least we could do is register to vote and go vote. You don't let anyone come and tell you this Project 2025 is trying to take away your civil rights. People died for that. Died for that. It's so important. And so I dropped the link, Mel. Let's see if I can do it again. You know, this. If black and poor people had voted more in state and local elections, a lot of the MAGA politicians would not be in power. That is very true. I hear it's bad in Louisiana. I hear it is bad in Louisiana. I also let the people know that it is a myth that you can't vote with a felony, but you can, as long as you're not incarcerated or on paper. Well, I thought it was I thought you couldn't vote if you had a felony. Gosh, I thought that was OIC was me. Wow, what's OIC? I thought that you couldn't vote if you had a felony, because from my understanding, hey Mel.
Hello.
So I'm on StreamYard, so I'm testing StreamYard out. If you hear echo from Mel, please let me know, because if you don't, then I'm just gonna go ahead and change over to StreamYard.
Yeah, it sounds good now. It sounds like everybody else sounding right
Oh,
now.
you sound real good.
hmm Yeah, when I call into other ones, it be sounding, like this. But yeah, I think that for me, it's just I agree with everything you're saying. I also would tell people, and as I said before, a couple of years here, that we got to also. Oh, okay, I hear a little static. Oh, that's okay. I was going to say we also got. Ooh.
What?
Oh no, I think I'm hearing static a little bit. A little bit.
Is that my phone? I mean, my fan.
It comes in and out, but it's okay now. It's crystal clear now.
Oh, that's probably my fan. Oh,
Yeah.
there we go. It's okay. My little
Little friends over there.
my little Frenchie over here, honey, is on the
Mhm.
chain.
They getting excited too. Say, yeah, y'all got to go out there and register. They one day listen. No, I just think too. It's helpful if we also look up who represents us. The national website called who represents me.gov, and you go to Google and Google who represents me.gov and put your state in there, and you'll find your local officials. And if you hit them up based on whatever party you're a part of, introduce yourself to them. They can actually lead you to join your local community boards. Those community boards are the ones that's responsible for the buildings in your community, the different things that happen with the traffic, everything. And it's very important to your community. So
Yeah.
that's how I did it actually. Here in New York City, I didn't know, so I looked up who represented me. I introduced myself to many of my local officials, and then I joined the community board. And on the community board, sometimes you're able to vote on different things happening in your city, which can be a little something very interesting too, because the people, surprisingly, like big corporations, if they know you're on the board, they might try to approach you.
All right.
That's okay.
Hey, go ahead,
Yeah,
Mel. I'm gonna mute myself. Go ahead.
no, I was gonna say they try to approach you. So look up who represents you, and then find your local officials, and then introduce yourself to them and ask them about joining. That's why I would tell every Black, brown, LGBT, anybody that's under attack, look up who represents me, and you go to those people's office and try to join your local community boards, because that is power in doing that, especially if you're under attack. They would be very surprised, no matter who's in office. If you join your local community board, there's some power in that right there. Uh,
I tried to look that up here and I couldn't find it.
you
Why
couldn't.
would
So when you went to whorepresentsme.gov, you couldn't find your local
Oh,
officials.
okay. Who represents me? That good. Okay.
Yeah, whorepresentsme.gov. And then you put you look that up in Google and then put your state in there, and it'll show you the website for you, and then you'll be able to look up all your local officials and stuff like that.
Okay.
And all I did was do that, and then I contacted the people. I mean, the governors and senators ain't gonna be there all the time, but their staff is there, and then they will lead you to how to join your local community board. And that way, you'll be there with a lot of decisions. So anything that's happening 2 years ahead of time, it's going to go to the community boards first. You'll be right there. So any kind of big issue that's going to be happening for the elections, you'll be able to hear about it beforehand. Um, and also, I think too, like me and you were talking about, right now I'm looking up different biographies of people in the African American community that survived and made it and thrived in the 1920s and the 1930s and 50s, because this happened before. The good thing about being a person under attack and surviving and thriving is that we have the tools to do it again. We're not going to go down because they using these old tricks they used back in Jim Crow time. We've been there, done that, and got the T-shirt, and we survived. So we have
Right.
not gone back to the plantation, no matter what they try to do. The simple fact is, we know how to survive, and a lot of people. And listen, the people that's coming over here now, they don't know. So we are going to be the ones that teach you how to survive under this thing, because it's not going to slow me down. I mean,
Right.
I've learned very well from my mother and my grandmother about what they did, so I'm not really too frightened because I know it could be. I know what to do. So yeah, so it's things to do. But yeah. Oh, and also, with everything happening, I want you to bug your local board of elections. I want you to bug them. I want you to go down there and find out if you're registered to vote. Because sometimes they send your cards out, and that could be for a previous election. I want you to go down there and call the people if you can on your free time. And I want you to make sure that you're currently registered to vote for November. The November is the biggest one, but also the other one. So those are the things I would do. Look up who represents you. Make sure that you're registered to vote. If you registered a couple of years ago, say I'm registered. No, I want you to check this summer. I want you to check really good and make sure everything's on point and fresh and new. The address is right. Everything. Just bug them while it's quiet before it gets crazy in September and October. Do it this summer. So those are a couple of things that will, again, everybody under attack. African American, new citizens, anybody who's under attack, do these steps, because these things will actually, because with all the chaos happening, they want you to be afraid and to be confused. But if you're focused, like some of us are, there's still power there. They can't erase everything. Everything can't be erased.
Yeah. You know, they're passing all kind of laws here too when you go to vote that you can't have water. I think I talked about this before. You can't hand out water. You can't do a lot of things. I'm almost scared. I haven't received my papers yet. My registration papers yet.
Yeah, I would probably call the board of election real quick
That's what
before it
yeah.
gets a long line. Make sure, because make sure everything's up to date and everything.
Yeah, they do want a resume. I told you. She went over to the Project 2025 website. They want you to they want your all your stuff, your information. They want to check you out.
Mm.
Blacks are disproportionately locked up in the South. So North Carolina overturned that law and now allows felons to vote in many circumstances. Black felons' inability to pay kept them from voting despite parole. Sorry. Yeah, because in Florida, what's that governor?
DeSantis, is it DeSantis
Yeah,
down there?
DeSantis. I
Mhm.
forgot about him. Jeff. DeSantis, they were arresting people who they claim were felons, but they were able to vote once they got out of jail because that law was lifted or something. That law, well, was lifted where they could go vote, and the Satan, and they were arresting people for voting.
So that's the crazy thing. We trying to, people getting arrested for drinking too much, having a little weed, but we're going to put a full blown criminal in charge of the world. That makes no sense to me. We even want our doctors to have at least, make sure that they pass as good before they touch us and try to heal us. So why would we want to put somebody in charge who don't have enough sense to come out the rain to be in charge with the whole? It makes no sense to me. You usually want people who got a little more sense on them to be trying to do stuff that's life and death, So that makes no sense to me at all. And I think me and you were talking too about the people who look like us or who've been under attack. I want to tell them also, if you're not dripping in all the make America great again, all the bumper stickers, stuff like that. I want you to go down to these MAGA rallies all these rallies, not in drag of that man, but just as who you are, who you were born as. Just go in simple clothing and report back to your different social medias exactly how you were treated. Because it seems that if you're buffooning yourself and you're a person who's under attack, then you can go out there and have a good time. But if you go in there like a regular person with some dignity and some class about yourself, just going to investigate and you happen to be a black person or whatever, you're having a hard time. So that makes no sense to me. They are showing you before you even vote for them that they don't respect you.
Right. I think it's crazy. I think it's crazy that they're allowing this man to vote. He's a felon. Why is he voting? So
Yeah.
he can vote, but the black folks that you arrested for voting, and the law said they could vote, you're gonna take away but he can vote, but you arrested those people.
And when you ask the people that question, the supporters of his, they say, well, you know what? I just want everybody I want every person who's had a legal struggle now to become president. They want you. They get very angry about that. They go, wait a minute. No, because that person, no, actually, some of these people actually never did a violent crime in their lives. This man is touching people, destroying lives, all type of problems. And some people just, I don't know, had the speeding ticket too much, or who knows what, some kind of small thing, and their lives are ruined, and they can't participate in this election, whatever. So yeah, that's making no sense to me.
It's not. I think it's scary. I think it's I don't know, man, because we talk about this all the time.
Mhm.
I just think that um you're always so positive when we talk about it too. Like, well, Miss Sunny, I'm not gonna let them do anything to me. We've been through hard times and we can do it again and we can struggle because that's what we do. That's in our DNA
Mhm.
to fight the good fight.
Yes.
And I'm sitting here saying, well, I got my passport records. I don't have time.
Mhm.
But I know me. If it come down to it, look, I'll I'll fight.
Yeah.
I'll fight because you're just not gonna take our my husband's like, I ain't going nowhere.
But you know what too? And I told you this too. The crazy thing is, I mean, I didn't feel like it was too much. But Obama came in, a lot of changes happened, and people thought that was way too much for their sensibilities. So now we have this sort of pushback that Trump triggered when he was saying that he was an American and he wanted a birth certificate. It was all that stuff happening. We didn't, as in this time, in a modern time, we never really seen. Lynching. Excuse me. I'm sorry. We never saw that type of stuff in this modern time, as far as the images and stuff all over social media until Obama got into office. That really just ramped up real crazy.
Right.
So the funny thing for me personally is that they're being greedy. They want everything. They're not even negotiating. So at a certain point, this is another funny thing I was thinking about too. Because I think at one point you said this. You said, most of Trump supporters are Bubbas. What is it? Bubbas and their mama, basically in the backwoods. That's what we said before. And so I'm saying to the
I call
Bubbas,
them backwoods people.
the backwoods,
Backwoods.
the Bubbas, the Papas, and the Mamas, but they moonshine. So I think that for me, what I would say to those people is, he don't want you either. Because now the simple fact is, Mama Bubba, and with your moonshine, you can't. He ain't gonna let you at the country club either. He's not gonna let you through the country club. He's gonna say, "Who are these people? What's going on here?" So I'm telling you, even they're gonna wake up and say, "Wait a minute, we still stuck out here. We still struggling. We still don't got no insurance, probably got no teeth." And this man is lying to us, saying that he's going to help us, and he didn't do a damn thing. He didn't do nothing for us. So because they're so greedy and lying to everybody, at a certain point, it's going to turn against them, and all the things that he's put into place will fall down. Because it's just the way I guess the world works. Whoever gets power, other people get tired of it. They come back very angry, and then they change everything. And people were very angry with Obama for their own reasons, and now they changed everything. They're going to change it again, and out in the other direction. Because this is unbelievable. I mean, even with Obama, it was some kind of diplomacy. He was negotiating with them. As Nancy Pelosi said, he was negotiating too much for her liking because she didn't want to do it. She said they mean. She tried to tell him how crazy they were, but it was a documentary on PBS and he didn't really listen to her. But she was very angry that he didn't really get a little stronger in some instance. But they greedy. They not come to the table to negotiate. They just sit there live for 2 hours straight. So it's going to turn against them. It really is. Even if they get all this power, it's going to turn against them because the people can get tired of that. They're like, wait a minute, this is unbelievable.
For me, Stacy said that we knew Biden was old. We knew he stuttered. We knew this years ago. So one bad debate can't sway us from moving forward. I don't care if he's in a wheelchair. Trump is a liar and isn't good for USA, which is true because Learn to Love Myself said she heard that Joe. I heard that Joe is with his family deciding on whether to continue to run. Haven't verified it yet, but running on some channels. Because they were talking about, I read earlier today, they were talking about implementing the 25th Amendment, which is getting him to step down, forcing him basically to step down. And then the vice president will step in. This has only happened 6 other times before.
But okay. Oh, I don't know.
I don't think that's good.
No, because people don't. I don't know. People not really liking the vice president either for some reason. I don't know.
Right. Because she can't run for office.
Right.
She can't be president. We would definitely lose.
Mm-hmm.
See, you gotta because what they're doing also is saying that the world is reacting to him and the way he was stuttering, the way he was, talking, and he looked incoherent at times. Yeah, because he was in shock. But I said it when we were live. I said he's in shock because this man is sitting here lying.
Mm-hmm.
It was a tactic that he used. Look, the best bet is to put if they're gonna move him aside, the best bet is to put Gavin Newsom there. That'd be your best bet. Because I don't know this other guy. They just said they named what's her name? Amanda Seals was naming other people. I think it's sad because I put on one of her other videos that one thing about the Republican Party, no matter what, they know they have a candidate that is trash. They agree that he stormed the Capitol, and yet they still, or that he, told, of course, these people into doing it, but they're still going to stand by that man, no matter what. Mitch McConnell came up when it happened. He said that Donald Trump is at fault for doing that. But if he wins, I'm going with the nominee. That is the candidate. I'm going for the candidate. If he's the candidate, that's who I'm voting for.
Yeah, they're the one at all cost party. They don't really care.
They don't care.
And I think that maybe that might be one of the tools, but Democrats, I don't like what they're doing with the American public because I don't think that all the American public is don't have any morals, but people don't really care about equality. They don't care about laws. At this point, they really don't. It's all about who can be the most entertaining. And I think that for me, when people say that Joe Biden's too old, I grew up at a time when I used to watch Golden Girls. I watched Jefferson, and some of those older characters were very funny. And I think if Joe tapped into the very funny grandpa, or just really played up his age and really, the simple fact is we don't need him to. I mean, hopefully he's alive for all those years, but I don't need him to do. I don't need him to do anything more than just to make it to November. Just make it there, funny, entertain, inform, and let his vice president do the rest. Like that's all I need. Do I think he can? I do. I think that they say he was sick. So if he rests a little bit and take his medicine, his vitamins, everything else, and and also see Trump as noise, almost like a yapping little bug in your ear. You got to be laser focused. I will stay with Trump because he's doing all that kind of noise. You can't really take none of that seriously. You got to almost be like, not bother, actually being angry, showing anger, all that kind of stuff. It doesn't work. You got to play it off. You don't want to be condescending. It's a whole dance to do those debates when it comes to Trump. But you definitely can't be, like caught up into everything. You can't take it seriously. You got to be focused on your stuff,
What I find interesting too, because Stacey says the truth of the matter is that the Republicans are worse because she's responding to Stacey B, because she said she was hurt by Biden's action regarding the Palestinians. However, this is bigger than Biden. This is a democracy, right? Which is true. So Stacey says the Republicans are worse. They want to decimate the entire Palestinian pepper. What pepper? At least Joe is trying for peace. I don't understand why people think that Trump is going to get there and get in office, and he's going to uh, protect the Palestinian people. He's not doing that. Those Republicans over there, they're going to give Netanyahu the power to wipe them out. They want to wipe out the Palestinians altogether. They will wipe them out, and next 4 years, you're probably going to see Gaza full of condos, right? They don't want to be
Oh,
there.
that's terrible. Yeah.
It is very terrible. I'm
Oh,
not.
that's terrible.
Y'all got to go deep. When you go deep, then you understand where I'm coming from. You
Mhm.
got to go watch. What's that name of that? The BBC, or you need to watch the other news that's out there, because they're telling you the truth. They're showing you people on ground. These people are trying to wipe them out.
I've seen some of it. It's
It
hard
is
to watch.
nasty.
Yeah, it is. It is.
And that's their land, by the way.
Mhm. You know what I would say too, and I mean what my feeling is this, that Trump, at the end of the day, both candidates are not perfect at all. But I'm voting for sanity. That's just how I'm voting. I'm voting for people who actually are giving me a little bit of sanity. And also, there's a lot of issues in this country that we are not going to be able to fix within 4 months. We're just not. I think right now, as Americans, we got to be very focused on the fact: do we want a president sitting in that office for 20 years? Or do we want to continue with the options of having a Republican, having an independent, having a Democratic when every 4 years when an election comes up? Because Trump is saying, as you show with that report, he doesn't believe in elections. He wanted to be like Vladimir Putin, where he just sits in that office and everybody comes up. He sabotages and manipulates and sitting there for 20 years. That is unbelievable. I don't want to be stuck with him for 20 years. So for me, that's why I'm voting. I'm not voting because I believe in Joe Biden's policies. I'm voting because I want these conversations to continue. But I think
Right.
also the concerns that people are having won't be addressed if Trump gets in office at all.
Right. I
You
don't.
know,
They won't. We'll be more. We'll be worse off.
yeah,
There will be no infrastructure, because when he was in office, he didn't do anything with infrastructure. He didn't do anything. He
yeah,
didn't do anything. He was just getting rid of all the policies and that Obama put into place. That's
right.
all he did. When he picked up that stack of paper, remember that? This is, I gotta go through all this. You're not going through any of that. You're not doing that. That's
Yeah,
a
and
lie.
I remember before somebody told me, even the best president that we've ever had still made some mistakes, and I think that for me, um, sometimes the election is a good thing because sometimes when the president has a blind spot, somebody else might come in that might be able to do something different, whether it be Republican or Democrat. But for me, the election process should not be stopped. And I think that for me, that's what I'm very focused on. I don't have faith that we'll fix any of these problems within 4 months. We have to stay focused on the election, and then after the election, hold Joe Biden accountable for whatever. But at that time, it doesn't matter because we have other people to come in there. But the conversations have to go. For people to think that we can fix the price of food, fix the Middle East, fix the issues with women's rights to choose, and all these serious issues, that's not going to be fixed this summer. So
Right.
it's not. We got to be
Right.
very focused on the fact that we want to continue to have these conversations in the upcoming years. But when you vote for one of the candidates, that's not going to be an option. No more elections, no more conversation, just
Right.
dictatorship
I mean,
and all the things that you're concerned about, even the environment. The fact that the things are getting hotter and the price is going up. Everything, people like, but these are my concerns. Well, can we? I agree with you. I have concerns too. Let's continue to have the conversation. One candidate said, no more conversations. No more. I'm right.
right.
Everybody else is wrong, and this is how it's
Right.
going to be. That's it. No more debate. No more nothing. That's it. After November. So I'm
Yeah.
like,
After November, yeah.
yeah, I
Because
don't.
the what, January? I think it's, well, in
Mhm.
part of 25, it says January 25th or something like that.
Yeah.
That's when they're going to start implementing everything. January 20th, I think that's what they said.
Hmm.
That's when they're going to go in and do an overhaul.
Wow. And listen, next summer too, there's going to be that's usually when they get really gutted with it, because summertime is when those Supreme Courts be doing the most. So this summer has been pretty crazy for people, but next year would be horrific.
It's going to be real scary.
Yeah, they could bring back segregation if they wanted to, with some kind of,
Well, they're already doing that. They already implemented Jim Crow laws in Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're not making this up.
Right.
It's already happening. In Tennessee, they're cold-blooded with it, right? So yeah, banning the books, making you put the Bible on the on the desk and make the teachers read the Bible. Oh, you're
That
gonna teach out this Bible.
Now, see, for me, I grew up, and I don't know the Bible word for word, but I grew up as a Christian. The simple fact is, for me, I thought that America was about having people who was a Buddhist or who was Middle Eastern or who was, a Muslim or Jewish or whatever you were, that this was what this land was about. The fact that people like that can go to a public school and feel included is reason why we didn't have those Bibles in school. Not to say that people can't pray and do whatever they want in their own home, but when you have a mixture of a community going there who are not Christian, they are other things, then what they supposed to do?
Can you imagine going to school and going to school and being a Muslim or a Buddhist or Hindu religion in this country? You grew up in this country, but that's your religion, and then they're forcing the Bible on you.
Right. I mean, for me, in an alternative universe, no shade to nobody's religion. I think everybody's thing, if it's not hurting nobody, it's a wonderful thing. I can't see myself going to a school and being forced to do or engage or read or study something that I wasn't brought up with, that my family wasn't brought up with. Like if that's just.
I mean, it's just not their culture. America is made up of all cultures.
It sure enough is.
That's what America is. So, when they were coming over here from Europe and they saw the Statue of Liberty, she's a representation of liberty for all people.
Right.
So being here in this country, that's why, I mean, I grew up in the South. We had to read. I mean, we did our I remember as a kid in elementary school saying a prayer and then saying the Star Spangled Banner, the
Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge of Allegiance, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then starting class. I remember that like it was yesterday. And then they took prayer out of school. And I remember literally, when was it? When I was on here a couple of years ago, and I had made that statement. I said, well, I believe that, they got to do something because the crime is so high. The rate of people committing these crimes, these young people, they don't believe in anything.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they should put prayer back in school. But I didn't mean go put a Bible on a teacher's desk and say they're reading from this Bible.
So in Trump America, they will have a Bible on the desk and a pow in the drawer. That's kind of what they want, which is like, wait a minute, let's be inclusive to all people. Let's be respectful to all people, and also let's sort of make sure that people who have mental disabilities and all this let's not make it so easy for people to get their hands on a pow. But they don't want to regulate that because there's so many trillions of dollars. So what we're going to do is kind of whitewash it and say, oh, if a Bible is in the school, then a deranged person won't think about going to a Walmart or somewhere where they can get it and get something and try to hurt up all the kids. That doesn't make no sense. You got to fix something before. You can't just slap a Bible on the desk and think that crazy person ain't going to come in and hurt people. Like, that makes no sense.
It makes no sense. But so it's the Bible and it's guns that they're putting in the classroom.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to put guns in the classrooms because they've already passed those, or they're trying to pass that law. But I think they did pass that, where I think it's certain states picked it up where a teacher can have a gun.
Wait a minute. What state is this?
I can't remember. I saw it.
Oh.
I'm not sure, but I'll look it up in.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, the whole thing is crazy, but you're right. If Trump gets in office, that's what's going to be. and they'll probably come knocking on. Black people, you have a gun. We got to take your gun. But you don't
Hmm.
have any civil rights. Only white people can carry guns. Only Christian white men can carry guns because women won't be able to vote either. Just saying.
Right. And I think the census, I think that was another thing. It was, I think it was Roman Martin who was saying the fear of people because, the way that the country is changing. The simple fact is there's a hole in the boat and America is changing. They can't stop it with all these tactics. This country is not going to be blonde, blue eyed in the next, 15 years. It's going to be a mixture of things. So the simple fact is the people who are making all the rules are not even the majority. It's
Right.
not like it was back in the 30s and 50s or wherever when it was, majority of people looked a certain way and everybody else was on the outskirts. It's a mixture. It's a confusing mixture because then people that look like me to be out there trying to vote for this maniac is beyond me. But it is a confusing. I mean, it's a confusing mixture. So and it's not. I'm not sure what I'm not sure in the population if they make up the majority of people, but I don't think they do. I mean, it's dwindling. So for them to try to make up their rule to say, oh well, only us can have a pow pow. But like, wait a minute, that's not even going to be relevant in the next 15 years. Everybody's going to look the same.
Hmm. It's scary though. Let me add. Hey, Stacy, how are you?
Hello, how you doing, Sunny? How you
I'm
doing, man?
good. Good. I'm glad you're here.
Yes, yes, I'm enjoying this. I came via Evangelist Bow.
Okay.
She's been talking about you for a few weeks now. I said, you know what? Let me check into this.
Well, thank you.
Absolutely, this is. I love this topic, so it's refreshing.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know if Mel, because I was clicking into the studio, if he wanted to finish his thought.
No, no, no.
Or-
I listen. I love to hear somebody else's opinion.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So, for me, like I said, I spent 20 years in the military, and so I've worked under four different presidents.
Mm.
I've noticed a lot of change, and this whole Project 25 stuff. Um, I haven't read through the majority of it, but what I have seen, to me, Trump and the Republicans want to, the three executive branches of government are there to hold each other accountable. The
Right.
Supreme Court is the only court in the land that has, the final say, right? And so by doing so, if he can get rid of oversight, and I apologize, I didn't catch the first half of the live, so a lot of this may have been said already. By doing so, by getting rid of federal oversight and getting rid of all these government agencies, he gets to act in a manner that his buddy Putin acts in, right?
Uh-huh.
And so I too remember, going to school. The Bible and everything was there, and at least praying, and then also doing the Pledge of Allegiance in the 80s and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And I don't have a problem with, as a Christian, doing that. However, it is isolating, like Mel said, to the other faiths, right?
Right.
The same thing occurred in the military. Like in boot camp, they didn't let you go and pray. And so, though my homegirl was in boot camp with me, and she was Muslim at the time, and
Uh-huh.
I've spent a lot of years in the Middle East and that whole Southwest Asia stuff during my time in. In fact, a lot of Muslims were afraid to come out and say that they were Muslim, right?
Wow.
During boot camp.
Hmm.
And it took me sacrificing myself and saying, hey, we got a recruit in here that is, she practices Islam and this, that, and the other. And after I had all these drill instructors in my face coming down on me, ultimately they realized they messed up. So, but that was also I spent my entire career in a time of war. I joined in '01 and retired in 2021.
Wow. So you were
So
there during the did you join
all.
because of 9/11?
Mhm. Yes, so I was actually, yeah. So I joined. I ended up skipping school one day. It was almost over anyway. And I went home and I was like, well, I'm gonna make me something to eat. And I turned on the TV and I saw the World Trade Center. And mind you, I have a lot of family in New York, all along the East Coast. We're all from Midwest, East Coast. And I had mad scholarships for sports and academic. And when I saw that, it stunned me. I was like frozen.
Mhm.
Right.
And I said, oh my God, I need to do something that's bigger than myself.
Right.
And my entire family was furious with me because I decided to not go to school for college. Uh-oh. To not be a doctor. I said, no, I'm going to the military. And I went to the Army first.
Uh-huh.
Spent 6.5 years there, was stuck in Iraq for 2 years during the beginning, like when it was very kinetic, very terrible. I got stop loss, which is where they say no one can leave, or, come or go. You stuck until you serve this amount of time in combat, right? And so it was real crazy. And then after I came back from combat, went straight to the Marine Corps. And then a few months later, after that, made it through, went straight back to Afghanistan.
Uh-huh.
So it was a lot of it was very difficult, right? Um, but again, yeah, I joined to do something bigger than myself. And so while I was there, it was like so much racism. I mean, extreme racism. Everything was fine when Bush was there. Then you get Obama, and then you really start to see people masks fall off, right?
Mhm.
And there was many times while I was stationed in Arizona where Trump came to Yuma, Arizona, where I was at, and I started to like notice the cult-like mentality.
Mhm.
When we're in uniform, I'm a Marine, okay?
Oh,
So
wow.
yes, so when we're in uniform, I had allowed multiple Marines go, and he wanted to talk to all of us. He kept us. He flew the the plane there, parked on the flight line, had our Marines waiting out there in 120 degrees for like 3 hours for him to come. And when he
And this is
did,
Trump.
this is Trump, yes.
Mhm.
And when
Mhm.
he did, they were taking off their covers. That's what we call them, but they're hats to civilians, right?
Uh-huh.
And he was signing them like they was autographs. So
Oh
when
my
these
God.
Marines came back to the shop to the company, I went off because how are you to deface government property? And I'm like, you better go over to the Marine Corps Exchange. You better get your blah 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 and get you a new cover. And you better not. So they looking at me like, dang, you know. But I started to notice like a massive shift, like in what was again, we're supposed to be apolitical in uniform. You can
Right.
hold your private beliefs, but you don't talk about it in uniform.
Right.
And so I really started to see that shift, and but the it was so disheartening, and to see that our top leaders, right, our commanders, our sergeants major, they were allowing such racial tension to occur so
Mhm.
long as it was against Democrats and Obama or even Biden. I was there when Biden was in.
Mhm.
And I mean, again, where's the oversight? And that's exactly what Trump and the Republicans want. You can't even come up with a way to repeal the Obamacare, but you can come up with a whole way to take us back to the 50s and 40s.
Come
Like,
on.
okay,
Right.
it's
But it's
crazy.
not him that's doing it though, right? It's the project. It's the
It is.
Heritage
It's a
Foundation.
collective.
Yeah.
Yes, it's
But I like,
collective.
I was gonna say, I like what Stacey was saying because she just now illustrated right there from 2001 all the way up until her time. Because, they use this term, oh, I'm so tired of the word woke. Now, when me and Miss Honey are talking behind the scenes, I said, well, we weren't the first ones to wake up. They woke up with a black president, lost their mind, and got very angry, and all that stuff came up. They woke up first with all that crap. And Miss Stacey just said it right there. That
Right.
in her time, we had Bush and or whatever the man was, George there. And then when Obama get there, she was right. She sees it. The energy is changing. They threaten by a black man being in office. That's what happened. They woke up. Something just triggered them, and I say they woke up with all this crap.
Oh, it was, what else triggered them? Black Lives Matter. When
Yeah.
Yes, it did, of course.
I
Oh
was
yeah.
given a brief. I was briefing the whole battalion, and I got into it with some of the leaders because during the brief we were talking about, we have like NCID, the criminal division, and all this stuff coming, and they're talking about terrorist threats and like this, that, and the other. And it was like a few of them tried to stand up and say Black Lives Matter was a criminal terrorist organization. And I had it out, okay? And I said, pull it up right now, and they never could. But to the junior Marines and to the junior sailors that we had that was there also, they're looking at us. And I said, do not speak factually about something that just because it doesn't align with your political beliefs or your civil beliefs, this, that, and the other, don't you dare throw a Black organization on a terrorist list. You're not going to do that on my watch.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it was, it was blatant racism. Oh yeah. And Red Label, I didn't know he served too. He could probably say the same thing,
Yeah.
you know? Mm-hmm.
But did you serve at that time too? If he's still here. No, he did say that y'all served at the same
Mm-hmm.
time.
At the same time.
9/11 happened the day of reporting the Post.
Yep.
I think that well, thank you for serving, first of all. I always say that.
Absolutely.
I was in the airport. My husband, I saw some female soldiers walk by, and I said, "Thank you for your service." And they said, "Thank you, something." They say,
Well, I
and
say thank you for your support, you know.
yeah, thank you for your support. And this man walked up to the girl. She said, "Do they say that all the time?" She said, "Not all the time."
Mm-mm.
Why not? Because she had a whole uniform on.
Yeah, us in the Marine Corps, we don't wear that. All the other branches, you'll see them out in town, and
And they're,
they,
yeah, the fatigue.
yeah, we don't. We have standards.
Okay.
I'm just
Wow.
but no, for real. A lot of that changed. We used to, but that
Uh-huh.
changed during the time of war when 9/11 kicked off because you become a target, right? And
Yeah.
Yeah.
so, and that's what it was. So it's just that the Marine Corps still likes to hold that standard.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So are you served 20 years? But you still what happened after your 20 years? Did you go become a doctor?
No, so I'm in law school.
Oh, that's
Um,
good.
So I've got I want to prosecute child sex crimes.
Very
So
good.
while I was on active duty, I didn't have a child until like a little bit more halfway. Like I had already finished like deploying and all that stuff. So I said, well, I've been married to my career long enough. Let me have a child before my eggs dry up, right?
Right.
So I did that, and I was going to school at the same time, using my benefits. But and then training, I became an instructor and started training a lot of Marines and
Mm-hmm.
even foreign exchange students. We were getting soldiers from like Australia, the UK, Asian countries, like stuff like that. So after that, at the same time I was an instructor, I also did a little over 12 and a half years working as a uniform victim advocate
Mm-hmm.
um, for sexual assault,
Mm-hmm.
both militarily and on a civilian side. So I have a real strong passion for like civil rights as well as prosecuting child sex crimes. So that's my next goal. So I retired mad young. I retired at 37.
Okay.
So there's not enough golf in the world or planting flowers. I'm like, nah, I still have a purpose, so let me do it.
Right. Right.
I
Still
Yeah.
love that.
young.
I love you. Never again. That was me and someone talking about that. I think that I thank you for Miss Stacey for coming up because you know what, this is what I feel now. I also want to tell you thank you too because I was here in New York City and I personally feel that the world changed on the day September 11th happened. Now
Yeah.
it was an anxiety here for I don't know for about 7 years, but it never was the same after that. It just was different. And not to go on a weird tangent, but Miss Sunday she loves documentaries and movies. I love David Lynch very much so, and I watched Twin Peaks, and it was third season where he illustrated the bombing of Santa Fe as the origin of evil. It was a beautiful episode. I personally feel like September 11th was that way for us in America. It was that the beginning of all the anxiety we feel that we've never lost for the past 20 years. It's still been here. So the fact that Ms. Stacey went out there to do something and continue to do something as far as, doing important work to protect children, it's exactly what I'm talking about for our community. We can't stop because these people are making up all these hurdles and trying to take us back to 17 9, who knows where, just trying to take us way back. And no, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing that. But I thank God that Miss Stacy said this, and I love the part where she said she was there right after September 11th and saw the change with these superior people. Like Bush was okay, but as soon as Obama got there, oh, now we got to start talking about his attitude. And I'm like, really? Like, what the hell?
What tan suit he wear?
Oh, please. Oh, how
Okay.
his woman in birth certificate
How
and come
offensive.
on.
Right. Oh, he's wearing a tan suit. Oh my God.
Right.
Well, you know what? Everything he you know what? Obama on his bad day, Trump can even match. Can never even touch it. Simply. So I think that yeah, they just a hot mess. But again, they can. And the thing is, they're dwindling. They are dwindling, and they like the dinosaurs. They're becoming extinct because. And the census would tell you the fight they have now for purity and all type of stuff is a losing battle. There's all this greed and all this chaos is going to within 15 years. What is it for? Who are you doing it for? It's not, everybody's going to look different than they are now. It's a melting pot, truly.
But they
So,
are indoctrinating these beliefs, though.
and
Because let me say this,
yeah, mhm.
because I'm sure Stacey has traveled all over the world.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing, and you had said this one time, Mel, as well, because we talked about we had a discussion about people coming to this country and wanting to be with the people who have the most power.
Mhm.
Now, what I know to be true, a lot of Asian people, as Indians, the Pakistani people, if they have a lot of money, they come here, they vote Republican. They are Republicans to the core. Now I have some friends that are not that are Indian that are not Republicans, and I lost a lot of friends that are Indian who voted for Trump because I used to be on Facebook going ham.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Well, I can tell you too, Sonny. I'm from Detroit, been raised all over, right? And so Detroit, well, Dearborn, is right there next to Detroit and has the largest Iraqi community in the U.S. And Cali has the largest Afghan community. So I've talked to a lot of them. What happened was when they came over, they didn't have to pay a whole lot to get their gas stations, their liquor stores, all this stuff. So they were benefiting from democratic policies to get going. Those social economic policies, right? And so once they got, so I think my friend told me, and this was several years ago. He was like, his family was given a grant. It was like they didn't pay taxes for like the first however many years. They were given a grant. They were given several $1,000s to get established. Once they started getting established, they started noticing, oh, well, the Republicans don't want us to get taxed. So they went from Democrat to Republican based on
Oh,
a sense
okay.
of opportunity, right? And I'm like, well, where's the black opportunity like that? Excuse me. Uh, but that's what a lot of them have done. And so it's hit or miss. And I said, well, damn, I got to thinking about it. I was like, I never seen like the Chinese food joints where I grew up at. They behind 3-inch bulletproof glass. The food is popping. But I've never seen a Chinese person pumping their own gas. I don't see, I don't see a whole lot of stuff. I'm like, but I see them sticking together.
Right. That's what
I
they
see
do.
them.
Mhm.
Yep.
They're going to
But a
stick
lot
together.
of them did start out Democratic and then they went Republican based off of the tax cuts.
Wow. Didn't
And
know
that's
that.
just, yeah, that's just what my friends told me, my Arabic friends, right?
I made it.
Well, we still
Okay.
welcome aboard.
Thank
Hey,
you, because
Red.
it took a hot minute for me to try to get up.
And I'm on StreamYard, so y'all can't say nothing.
Right? Welcome, Red.
Thank you,
Well,
Stacy. Thank you, Stacy. Thank you for your service also.
Yeah, you too.
So I got in July 6th of 2000, right?
Mhm.
And then we went through that whole ordeal. Um 9/11 happened actually as we were reporting. We were actually at the airport. We left Great Lakes and we were headed to O'Hare. I was off to California, and it got crazy in the airport. We were still in full uniform at this point, and I mean, they were playing it on the monitors and O'Hare. And so we had to strip of our uniforms and put on our civilian clothes. We had to hide our military IDs in our shoes, and we
Mhm.
kicked everybody off of a Greyhound bus, and we went to the nearest military installation that was closest to us. We were on lockdown for 3 weeks.
Mm.
My orders changed, which was unexpected. It was it was crazy. You know, we were under Class Delta at that point, and it was completely different. My dad was serving at the same time, so it was just a weird situation of trying to figure out like what was going on with how are we going to attack the situation. And I entered my job, my MOS was, you know, it was supposed to have been surveillance, and then it turned into being a combat medic for the Marine Corps. I was a devil doc, hoorah!
Period.
Uh,
Hoorah.
but yeah, I started off with first Mardiv out of Pendleton, and then I ended up as the years progressed, I ended up in Okinawa with third Mardiv under recon, so that was great. But it was a lot of shit going on, and it was a scary point and a scary time. So to for that to happen and for Stacy to come aboard, that was great because Stacy has been a retiree at this point, which is crazy to say at what 37, 38.
Well, I'm 40 now, but yeah, I'm still near Camp Lejeune, one of
Yeah,
my houses. So yeah, I'm here right now. Hmm.
So
but
do you have to do like service once a month or something like that?
No, when I retired, I retired. Okay,
Oh,
I
okay.
was not
he's like, I
going
put
to
my
no
time in, I'm
reserve, and I
out.
did my 20 years. Mm-mm. Now they've offered me mad money to come back and continue to be a Department of Defense instructor.
Uh-huh.
Mm.
I have not, however, like I said, I have a different purpose.
Yeah.
So mhm. I can go there if I need to, but you know, mm-mm.
I would have been a lifer at that point, but at where we were, we had already lost six in my unit, and then they had automatically, as you said, the stop loss happened, and they tried to put me another 16 months in Qatar, and I was like, I can't do it, so I had to tap out. I had to gracefully buy out because I couldn't mentally take what was going on at that point.
You should have went to Qatar. What you mean?
I'm
You should
sorry.
have went. You should have. So while we were all in Ramadi,
Yeah.
Ramadi is for those civilians who or for the civilians that are not familiar with Ramadi, Iraq, Ramadi, Fallujah. You heard the Battle of Fallujah, all the stuff.
Yeah.
Like, we was all out there. So I was there for 2 years straight. I was only supposed to be there for a year. And they said, nope, the missions changed. We ended up losing like 90 in our brigade, which is a lot of
Hmm.
soldiers and Marines to get unalived, right? This is before all this, like the president had authorized for all this up armored vehicles or highly secure vehicles, right? We went over there with cloth doors on our Humvees and very little air support. So we lost a lot. um we were in Ramadi, and so a lot of us started. That's when I got first diagnosed with PTSD. We
Mm.
had there was a during Ramadan. My Ramadi is very very small at that time. It was like 1 mile all the way around, and at some point my brain broke, and all these rocket propelled grenades came dropping down, and the motor pool and all around our base, our camp, and everything just went slow motion for me. They said I just started walking. Everybody's running towards the Jersey barriers for cover to take cover so that they don't get hit. And my brain, and it was very slow motion. I remember everything went like Twilight Zone, but like very warped. The sounds
Hmm.
I heard, the bombs dropping. I saw shrapnel everywhere. That's how I got shrapnel all over my left side of my leg, and
Wow.
thigh area. They said I dropped my weapon. I grabbed it by the front of my rifle and I started dragging it, and I was just walking and talking and didn't even know what I was saying. So they sat me down for 72 hours because I was on an all male tactical movement team. So I was the only female on there.
Mm.
and they said, "Hey, let's send you to Qatar." You know, Qatar is a beautiful place. It was like for us rest and recuperation. So you
Yeah.
should have took that. You know. Mm-hmm. That was
Wow.
all.
I just had to tap out. I mean, my parents actually have footage of me suturing people in our unit from shrapnel, from CNN, from when they popped by and shit. Like I couldn't do it. I couldn't take the smells.
Yeah,
For
it's
me,
terrible.
as a medic, I couldn't.
The smells of I don't okay, don't talk about it.
Burnt flesh
I
and
knew you
Mm-mm.
were gonna say that. Mm-mm.
yeah, burnt. I mean, we know what our limitations are as far as what we would talk about. I will say that, you know, Sonny. Um,
But no, I don't want to hear it because
yeah, yeah.
you
So I
know
mean,
what I'm saying? Because I can
yeah, right.
imagine. I can't
Yeah.
even.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, there's just certain smells, and again, that's you know, you have to get paid. You got that fan on, huh? You saying it's hot.
To me, yeah. Because I get hot
No, it's
flashes.
okay.
Uh-oh.
It
Wait
only
a
does
minute.
that for a few seconds, but
Ah,
the
okay.
static.
And it's all
No, those smells, those sights, those sounds, like
Yeah.
that stays with you for the rest of your life.
I can
Right.
imagine.
And coming back
Hmm.
stateside, they had put me on so many drugs. I was on trazodone. I was on Wellbutrin. I was on what was the other one? There were so many, and it had me in such a drugged up state where
Ambien and
I just couldn't function. I was walking around like a zombie trying to process everything. It made me suicidal. Like just coming back and trying to decompress of being in that situation and being drugged up on the meds they pump you up with to make you functional, which didn't make me functional at all.
Yeah,
but
And
that was the first run-in I had with George Bush
really.
because yeah. So sorry, go ahead, Ray. I didn't mean to cut you off.
no, you're fine. Go ahead.
Okay, so while I was in, again, after my brain broke, they only sat me down for 72 hours. And then boom, you get your medicine, whatever. They be like, okay, we still in combat. Get your butt back out there. Okay. So at some point during your deployment, you will have what's called R&R, rest and recuperation leave, and you get to go anywhere around the world as long as it's not on a red list or a black list, whatever. Where the military will say, "Okay, Stacy, you're in Iraq right now. Do you want to go home? We'll pay for your flight home and back. Whatever you do in between that, that's up to you. You pay the rest, right?" So I was flying home during they had to reroute us because Katrina was occurring, right? Hurricane Katrina. And we landed and they said, we were in Texas at the time. They said, hold on, we're delayed. We sat on a tarmac for hours. It was like just short of like 24 hours. And we like, well, take us back to the gate, da da da. So we're trying to like, they're rerouting flights, and he said, hold on, President Bush is um coming in the area. He's going to be going and seeing what the damage is, blah blah blah. You literally could fly over and see. And a lot of my Marines and soldiers, I was there long enough in Iraq. I went out there with the Army, ended up falling under a Navy command, and then fell under two different Marine commands. That's how long I was stuck. I was in combat in Iraq, right, over them 2 years. And so they had to take some of our guys and use search and rescue, and they had to go and provide support and security for President Bush. And so that's when the whole racism stuff started up. They were like, well, he didn't care about nobody in New Orleans. Bodies was close.
Right.
You could literally see it. Yeah. So that's when it started to be an uptick for us. And I was like, what is going on? You know?
I
So it was
remember
just
that.
crazy time. Yeah.
Katrina stuff. Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, I was going to say, Miss Sonny, I'm going to have to drop down a little bit, but I want to say, listen, it was a good night. It was a really good conversation, and again, it was nice to see, meeting Miss Stacy. As she had a lot of good things to go. And you know what? Not and trust me, I'm not being shady, but this is definitely a flash. It's like giving me flashback vibes because I have not been on a panel with Red Label for a couple of years,
Me either.
and it's kind of fun because you know what? He's not been on this over here. So it's really good to hear him because I never heard him. I've talked to him a handful of times, a couple of years ago, and never got that far. So again, I would say respect to him too. I didn't even know he was in the army. Hope everybody have a good night and sending good vibes, and just keep up the good work. We got to keep supporting each other.
It's definitely been a while.
It's
Yeah.
been, what I'll say to Red Label while he's here. You know what? I've always had a good time with him. He's always been good. It was, we talked and everything. He's, always been a gentleman to me, very respectful. But I never heard him talk about his time in the army. He was more playful. He's a very playful person. But I never knew about all this stuff. So I'm really getting a lot of information between Miss Stacy and Q and their time in the army at that time. So yeah, it was just a good conversation all around. And I'll talk to you soon, Miss Sunny, and have a good night.
Okay, you too. Thank you.
Pleasure. Yes,
All right.
absolute pleasure.
Okay.
Yeah, so well, were you in the army, Red?
No, I was actually Navy. I was actually Greenside.
Okay, yeah. Navy. You were in what do they call those people? Navy SEALs?
I was
Corman.
I was Greenside Navy, so I was attached to the Marine Corps. I was attached to Recon, Third
Okay.
Mardiv. Yeah,
So you can't swim, right? I'm just
I
joking.
can swim.
Yeah, okay. That's why I wouldn't go to nobody's name. I can swear I can
Yes, I
lounge
can
in the
swim.
pool.
I hope so.
Yeah, green side. So you got your sailors, you got Seabees,
Mhm.
those that work like the Navy that work construction, and then you have your green side corpsmen for the Navy, and they basically attach to us Marine Corps units, and they basically go through a lot of the same. They have to keep up with us, and so
Right.
they're hardcore Navy, medics.
So I
Whenever I
have
was
my
going
Navy
out on foot.
uniforms and I have my Marine Corps
Mm-hmm.
uniforms.
Yep,
I
they wear our
never
uniform.
I never rode Humvees. I always jogged with the rest of my
Yep.
with my clan.
Yeah. When we do foot patrols, they have to get trained up on weapons to do what we do. So they
Are
have
your
their
knees
setup.
bad? Because my sister was in the army and she said her knees are bad.
Oh yeah, I get this. Listen, I get a couple different checks. Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm. And I do.
She get a check
I
too.
sure do. Yep.
Mhm.
I got horrible back, knees, like neck, everything. But I keep it cute. I look cute, but I'm in pain a lot. So
Yeah.
yeah, we definitely get disability over here.
Yeah.
But I still, I'm still young enough. You just learn to live with things, and you work out, and you do things to help alleviate where you can.
Pop an
Right.
Advil and keep it moving.
Yeah, they say, yeah, the Motrin, that military quick to say, where's your water? You drink your Motrin, drink your water, and change your socks.
Okay.
Okay, we get
Change the shot.
800, was it 800 milligram
800
Motrin?
milligrams of much.
Mm-hmm. Talking about pop them 3 times a day. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what is your
So,
take on Project 2025?
Red.
Red.
Mine.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe that it's been allowed to get this far. It's already in motion. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, they've already passed the law for them to place the Ten Commandments in the state of Louisiana.
Mm-hmm.
Oklahoma is now allowed to put the Bibles in school. And next, I mean, it's crazy that they can't seem to separate. It's the white man's agenda. The white fragility has taken over. They feel like they're being displaced as a people and they're losing control. So they are trying to implement all of these laws to put themselves back on top of the totem pole
Right.
for the Christian straight white male. They're trying to put the women back in the households and out of the workforce. They want to restrict them from voting. They want to take them out of the workplace. And it's crazy. It's crazy that there's so much stuff happening under a lot of people's noses and they're not paying attention because
Right.
it's going to happen once Trump gets in there. It's going to be it's going to be very retaliatory once he gets in there, and it's going to be a rude awakening for the people who are supporting Trump, especially women, when they start stripping their rights away, even more so.
That is the whole entire point of limiting books, of eradicating certain books, because how do you get people to follow you? By removing books so that they don't read and gain an intelligence about themselves. They
Right.
want to
Hmm.
keep you in it. And you know, the majority of Republicans are uneducated.
Right.
You know, so it's very word of mouth, right?
They are very middle America,
Yep.
bare in the
Hmm.
woods, don't know what's going on. When most of
Yeah.
them are consuming food stamps and state benefits, and they're
Hmm.
trying to say that it's people of color, but it's
Exactly.
mostly them,
Right.
and they're
It
too
is.
stupid to understand and see that they actually need the Democrats, and they vote against themselves.
Yeah. And I mean, by removing the, and it's crazy because my primary residence is in North Carolina.
Hmm.
And the current senator that is here, I've actually worked with him. He's come to our base. He's done some things for me as a Republican. However, I still get his emails, and the emails that I get are crazy. I mean, completely just nuts. Talking about the Democratic agenda, the thing tweaking. Let's stop it a sec. Okay, there we go.
I'm gonna
Um,
rebuke that fan and that electricity
okay.
combo.
She said, "Y'all gonna catch this static. I'm hot."
Well, I put my fan down on the floor, it's hitting my legs, but I'm having a hot
Huh?
flash here. I
No,
have to have
it's
it going in
okay.
my face.
It's okay. We can do it. It's only a few seconds. But the thing is that yes, they're very afraid. They're very afraid, and I think that's what I wrote when I first came in. They're afraid of our determination, of our strength and power as a people, and so and then also that fragility that you're talking about, Red. They can't handle. The truth is the truth, and it doesn't need support. So historically, they know that their ancestors have done a disservice to all the entire black race, black and brown,
Right.
right? You can see at the Oklahoma, one of the last living Oklahoma bombing survivors, they refused to give her, to pay her, you know, or
Oh
to
yeah.
even. Did you see that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw that.
Yeah,
They
I mean,
threw it
it's
out.
absolutely crazy. They sure did. They sure did. However, we can give the Jewish people their reparations in a sense.
Right. We
The
can give it
Asians,
to also the
their
Japanese.
yes.
Yeah.
But it without the black vote, not many is especially for Democrat side, right? Democratic side. The black vote is very powerful. We just have to understand how powerful we are as a community, you know. Ugh.
I think the conditioning though, because I've said this before, black people tend to be conservative anyway, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, but we're dealing with these social issues,
Hmm.
which is, taking away your civil rights and all those things. If it wasn't for our our ancestors marching and fighting for civil rights, nobody would have civil rights. Let's be honest about that. So the people that come here from different countries that get all these civil rights and get all these uh things for them done for them, like you said, they come here, they get grants and everything else.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
We're always the ones that are left out. And if
I
it wasn't
also
for
think
black
that
people dying for those rights, no one would have them.
Right.
I think we as a people need to come together collectively if we want to see change. I also think that we need to put an end to this ratchet hood life thought behavior that is
Yes.
being portrayed on social media. And,
Mm-hmm.
and it's influencing these younger generations, and they're acting on that, and it's going with the stereotype that's already out there, that we can't be controlled, we're monkeys, we're animals, and who cares of what they think, because at the end of the day, this is what they want to shake
Right.
their ass, get some money, and they'll go shut up in a corner. This ratchet hood life mentality, to me, is so
Sexy red.
1990s.
Mm-hmm.
And these industry plants is what I call them.
Right. Yeah.
Try to make the newer generations fall in line with them, and we can't advance as a people if we allow this shit to continue, because it's actually ruining the younger generations when you really look at it at the end of the day.
So are you saying put the Bible in the classroom and put prayer back in school?
Sure, if it's a private school.
I don't think
I
so.
mean,
And I'm a
because
Christian.
we are in a multi uh, religious community. You can't just force one religion onto all in a public funded school. As
Right.
I'm of Islamic faith. I don't want to hear about your God being shoved down my face while I'm trying to learn what is important to me of trying to be a good human in society. Don't force your religious beliefs onto me because we don't follow the same faith. But
And
at the end of the day, it's all one God we serve. But I don't
that's
want to
right.
hear why yours is much superior than mine.
Right.
And I read both I am a Christian, but I read both the Quran and the Bible.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I don't, and that's because, like I said, I spent many years, and the Bible and the Quran actually complement each other.
Hmm.
You know, they do. And Jesus is acknowledged multiple times in the Quran.
Hmm.
However, I agree. What if you have Buddhists? What if you have those that
Jewish
follow
people.
the Torah?
Yeah.
Exactly, the Jews. And so, and the other thing is too, the main thing that these people tell me, and now I got young black people telling me this. They're like, well, Martin Luther King, he was a conservative. And I was like, wow. I said, let's hold on a second. During the civil rights, that was the last political ideological shift.
Hmm.
Conservatives from back then were actually Democrats of today.
Right.
So let's keep it cute, But again, you're taking books out of school. You're taking civil rights education away. So how are they going to know that, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Hmm. It's all type of just backwards. Again, going backwards. That's what they want. Keep people
But
ignorant so that they won't challenge the leadership. And
and
Right.
then
America
when
is
you
a.
reference things
Mhm.
of from Black history, and the mentality is to get over it or let it go, that was such a long time ago. But the conversation isn't had when it's from a Jewish person when they talk about the Holocaust,
Right.
or when you talk about the Asian people and Hiroshima,
Right.
and when it's just crazy that they want to shut us up when we want to talk about American history that actually happened here. They want to shut you up, but it's okay to talk about what happened to everyone else, and it's acceptable
Absolutely.
of their past.
Right.
Absolutely. Hmm.
Yeah.
Everybody's past matters except for Black American history. Black American history is supposed to be forgotten about. No. And that goes to that speaks to the fragility that you mentioned.
Right.
Did
Hmm.
you guys see the Reggie Jackson commentary from, I think it was last week or the week before?
I did not.
Yes.
Oh, it was great
About Jim
because
Crow.
yeah,
Mhm.
and they were basically asking him how does he feel about being back at the stadium, and he was like, well, it's hard for me because when I was here, they called
Oh,
me the N word, and I couldn't do this, and I was this
yes,
N word, and he didn't give them the answer they expected.
right.
I saw I was proud that the producers and that they let him talk freely.
Yeah.
Yes, I saw that. Yeah, I
He's
sure
a
did.
bitter man. I was telling my husband, I said he's bitter, and he's always been like that anyway. Just he's always
Hmm.
had that look in his face because he went through a lot. He went through Jim Crow era,
Mhm.
and and I think I was telling Mel earlier when I read the Jim Crow because I didn't know all the laws of Jim Crow, and I haven't read all of them, but some of them I read. It was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And so I remember my grandfather always saying to white people, "Yes, ma'am. No, no, ma'am. Yes, sir. No, sir." And I'm like, why are you saying that to these younger white people when they should be respecting you? It should be the other way around.
Right.
And he used to always say, "You just biggity." And I never got. I was like, I'm biggity. I'm like, this is ridiculous. But then when I read some of those laws, it's like, are you for real? And so this is what we're going back to when we're talking about Project 2025.
Hmm.
And a lot of people don't understand. A lot of people haven't even heard of Project 2025. These are people that are
Which
going
is
out.
insane to
They
me.
haven't heard of it. So that's my mission. That was this is my mission, is to go through it. It's like 920 pages and to talk about it, and it, help people gain some knowledge. And if do you have a page,
I
Stacy?
know that they're trying to get rid of diversity in the workplace. It's
Yeah,
part of
DEI.
the
Well, they get rid of that. That's one of the main things they're gonna get rid of.
yeah, they are getting rid of the quota, quote unquote, quota of how many diversity hires you can have within an establishment. It shouldn't be a thing, and it's just crazy to me that the Heritage Foundation hasn't been allowed to push this narrative, and
And
no
this
one
was
has checked
in
them.
the 80s. I didn't know they backed Ronald Reagan back when he was in office.
You know, before I lose my train of thought, you were talking about the Jim Crow.
Mhm.
And like I said, I study a lot of that, civil rights and, constitutional law, all that stuff. So my grandmother was born 1922 in Mobile, Alabama. Her mothers and all of them were like slaves and blah blah blah. So Mobile, Alabama, and my mother was born in 52. And
Mhm.
she was telling me, they did that, the Great Migration from the South to the North. New
Mhm.
York. That's why a lot of my family are New York, DC, Chicago, Detroit. Um, and my mother was telling me how when she was a young girl, behind the house in Mobile, it was a creek called Lynch Creek.
Mhm.
Um, and I don't know if it's renamed today. It's probably not because it's Alabama, right? And she was telling me how that there was like two or three people who were lynched on some trees back there, and she never forgot. And her parents were driving her back and forth to Mobile, you know, from Michigan, New York, and all that. And when they would cross over certain bridges, and you got the sundown towns and all that stuff. My mother grew up in Detroit, so she like, what the hell, you know? But and she said she noticed a huge shift in mindset when they crossed beyond like the Mason Dixon and all that. And they got to start going down there to Alabama, and she said it was like it went from happy, happy, happy to boom, very like stoic. All right, keep it together. Like you don't say nothing, don't stare at nobody, you know. And that broke my heart because I started reading. I've taken African American classes, and especially for my undergrad, and this, that, and the other. And I'm just like, oh my God, like I don't want my daughter having to go through no stuff like this mess. You know,
It's sad. It's
it
scary.
is.
It's scary
The
because I don't think you could look a black person could look a person in the eyes, right?
right.
That was
But
one of the rules, the laws.
yes, but you know what else? The only thing that gives me hope other than I believe in God and, whether it's this life or the afterlife, like we gonna be all right. Okay. What's his name? Kendrick
Male.
Lamar. We gonna
Oh,
be
oh
all
no, we
right.
don't okay.
Yeah.
No,
All
Kendrick
right. That
Lamar.
was a shameless plug, right? But no, the thing that I love about even though this new generation, like, oh, I'm sure the generations before us was like, ugh, this new generation, something wrong with them. But
Right.
one thing that I do love about this new generation, my baby's generation, is that they are questioning things,
Mhm.
right? Now, not the generation between my daughter and then us got me looking like I got a side eye. But I have faith in my daughter's generation because they are bold. They
Yeah.
are questioning things. Like my cousin's daughter, my cousin's stepdaughter, actually with her school got shot up, mass shooting in a suburb of Detroit a couple years ago. These
Mhm.
kids are growing up in a level of trauma, and then they're seeing this influx of political chaos. They
Yeah.
are questioning things, and I love that for them because they're not just going to lay down. All these old racist, crazy folks, they are, I don't want to see the D word, but they're unalive and out, right?
Mhm.
They are fading out. That gives me hope. But what we need right now is for our community and disenfranchised communities all across this nation to actually feel that their vote is valuable, right? That is the problem. We have a sense of hopelessness that is waving throughout this country for Black and Brown communities.
Mhm.
And that's preventing people from going to vote at the local level. They're just the sensationalized media is only focusing on the presidential race,
Hmm.
right? And then you got
Right.
people in Louisiana like Gary Chambers, who's joined the race. He's been fighting for years. He's 40 years old like me.
Mhm.
Okay. And he's having a hard time. He's doing everything he can, but he's having a hard time motivating our community, but his obviously is in Louisiana, to get up off their butts, see value within their stuff, and go to the poll. So,
Yep.
maybe this Project 25 is a blessing. People talk about fear mongering. I'm sure I think you said that they accused you of doing that.
Mhm.
Maybe if it's in black and white, because I just saw that there's a whole Project 25 handbook.
It's
Okay.
900 pages.
Yeah, I just saw that. Maybe if folks see that it's in black and white and have people like you, Sonny, to go, chapter by chapter and be like, look, you know, maybe that, I don't know,
I
but
don't know either, but I just like I
but
said,
we
I'm
just
just gonna
gotta
do what I
try.
can do. Just have to
Yeah,
try.
we gotta try.
Like
So I
we
appreciate you.
the most people we had over is what 10, 15 people, and so that's what I'm saying. Nobody wants to hear that. They
They'd
rather
rather
hear
come for the
the
mess
mess.
Yeah.
than hear
What I
something
need to
that's
put
actually
in
going to affect them in the
right,
long run.
right, because this is serious. This is not a game to these people. Someone, I think it was someone in the chat had said they're playing chess while we're playing checkers. These
Yep.
people are serious. They've been serious for a very long time. Their agenda
Right.
is to get rid of the liberal uh, people and replace them. They don't care
Yeah.
how they do it, and that's why I said when people say, "Well, they want to replace Joe Biden and because he's too old and blah 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 blah." Well, after that debate, he was fine. He was
I don't
talking
care if
good.
that man fell asleep eating a goddamn Jello pudding pop.
Okay.
He's still getting my damn vote compared to what I know what's happening on the other
Right.
side.
He said eating the pudding pop. Look,
I was upset them first 24 hours, and I didn't say, oh, we need President Trump. No, I didn't say that. I said I need to be president, or maybe we don't need, because I do. I travel a lot, especially Switzerland, Amsterdam,
mhm,
all over Europe, and I see how other nations do this. Switzerland has an amazing election process. They actually involve the people, and but I was upset, but at the same time, I'm like, okay, I don't care if he in a wheelchair or a paraplegic. At least he getting stuff done. And then you
right,
got the
Right.
other one who's lying and being animated. I'm an animated person. I'm using my hands right now.
right.
Okay.
Me too.
However, I would rather have somebody who can't do nothing but use his teeth and a straw to point to stuff than have somebody lying and playing in my face.
Playing in your face.
Hmm.
I can't believe it. I can't believe it. And here in Georgia, when he was down here, I haven't seen the video or read the article, but the barbershop that he used, that he went into, the guy is now saying that he didn't know that it was Trump that was coming or whatever. I don't know. I haven't seen it all, but some of it. I read the headlines and I'm like, dude, you knew, you had to know. The Secret Service is standing outside your door, fool. I mean, he still has
And he
Yeah.
thought Obama was going to walk through the door.
right. Who
Look,
you think was coming?
Trump was in Detroit a few weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. He went to a black church in my city,
Girl, I saw that.
I saw 2, 3 black people. I said, he first of all, what? So they clearly paid for all
Yeah, they
his
did.
footage.
And a lot of it's just a lot of it is a lot of lies. I need people to understand that it's Russian bots that you're arguing with online, because I'm arguing with a lot of people online in comments and people's
Okay.
chats, and not on
And then
YouTube.
half of them
So
only have
I
like
need
2 to 100 followers, and I'm just like, I ain't got time to deal with this bot. You just started your account 2 months ago.
right.
I don't care. I be arguing with bots, real people. Look, I'll argue with everybody. I be sending messages over to Netanyahu. I sure do. I'm pretty sure I'm on somebody FBI list because I be going at it. Okay,
My
and I
mom was
don't
like,
care.
it's so funny because my mother now watches my channel, and she's like, you need to not show your face and don't say certain things. I'm like, no, I'm gonna say whatever I feel like saying. No, because I
You
think they're
sound
gonna
like
be at
my
your door.
mama.
I'm like, they're not. My mother's big on conspiracy.
hmm She
Like,
talking
nah,
about they
it's
tapping
all
your
good.
phone. They tapping your phone. They
Oh
heard
yeah.
us.
My
That's
mama
why
says
the
that all
phone call got disconnected. I'm like, Ma, they don't care about what I'm saying. I promise you that. She like, yes, they did. Don't talk like that about Trump. And they
okay.
fine. But
I'm
I'm
gonna listen to
so
the two
glad I
military
came
people
over.
sitting here right now. I'm gonna talk about Trump all day long, and I mean what I
Okay.
say.
Listen, I dare somebody to pull up. They're gonna be
Me
like, oh,
too.
okay. I promise you
I say
that.
it all the time. Pull up.
Pull up. I promise you, because I'm gonna look right through my camera and be like, up, let me grab this, and this.
Okay. I told my sister today the same thing. I'm living for the day.
That's right. Well, you stay encouraged and you keep, you keep doing everything that you're doing. You know what? I might have to go ahead and purchase that book too. And everybody keep asking me to like start up a channel, you know.
You should. You tell your story.
Uh, yeah, I mean, I could, but I mean, originally, like when I came over to this whole YouTube world, it was through another content creator about some other stuff. And then Jag tried to start some stuff with me. So I got personal beef with her. But then that gets exhausting because I don't like living in toxicity,
Right.
But she recently said my name again. So I said, if she do it again, I'm going to have to make a page. And but I'm trying not to do that because I'm not that I have real life going on.
Right. We
So
all
I
have
said, well,
right.
yeah, I'm gonna do
That
something with
Jaguar
my
stuff
daughter.
is too
Right.
much. I don't
Um,
even I don't even partake in that. I mean,
no,
I
yeah,
really don't.
right.
I just
I done got rid of so many CCs I used to follow, and I was just like, okay. I just, Evangelist Val, that's my sis right there. I followed like three or four others, and I'm trying to shift that. I
yeah.
don't want to be stuck in a twilight zone with some nutcase. When I have a real life.
Because it can
Right.
be, trust me. But
But you call my name, I'ma come out. I am saved, but God working on me. I am saved with a little bit of hood. I will still pop out every now and again and tear your behind down.
okay.
But I said, well, that's exhausting. She know what it is. So I need to, I've got a couple ideas if I do start up a channel. But this is more like my speed.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well,
And
you're
so I'm,
welcome
I'm
over
gonna
here
get that book.
anytime,
Yeah, I'm gonna
because
get
I'm
that book.
definitely gonna keep talking about until election day.
Now, are
When
you
y'all see me,
monetized?
huh?
Are you
Mm-mm.
monetized yet?
And I was monetized before, and because I wasn't on my channel for a very long time, because I didn't do it
Oh,
for like a year, they
yeah.
demonetized me.
Okay. All right. Well, we gonna support you, girl. I appreciate
Yeah.
it. And yep, Evangelist Val, she keeps saying, go check out Sunny. I'm gonna do it today.
Well, I'm glad you did come over here,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm glad you told
Me
your story.
too.
I appreciate that.
It's
Yes.
always sunny in Georgia.
Yeah, always.
I got a house out there too.
Yeah, come out here and visit. Hang
I do.
out.
I'm gonna be out there next
I live
month.
in the country, honey. I don't live in Atlanta. I live in the country. I tell people that all
I'm
the
in
time.
a
I live in the country.
suburb. Yeah, I'm in Metro. I'm in Noonan. So,
I don't think that's far
I'm in Noonan.
because
Yeah.
I'm out here, country. We used to
Yes.
it used to be. Now they're developing everywhere now because everybody's moving out.
Yeah. That's where
Everybody's moving to the country.
Oh yeah, they're moving out here.
yeah, it's a new house, it's a new development I'm
It's
in out
development
there.
on every corner.
Yep.
Cut
And
down
but this is I'm
forests.
primarily I'm out here in North Carolina and I go out there throughout the
I like
year.
North Carolina.
Yeah, I'm right off the ocean.
Oh, really?
I am.
Nice. I like that place. It's pretty.
I have a good old time. Yep.
All right, for the meet and greet.
Period. Right. And you in Cali. I'm in Cali all the time too. Red. I'm
Who's
in
in
Cali all
Cali?
the time.
Red is not in the Cali.
Or where you at? I thought you were in Cali.
I'm in Minnesota. I am 2
Well,
hours from
I'm
the
there
border
too.
from
I'm
Canada.
going to I'll be in Detroit, then Chicago, then Milwaukee. I got a lot of family in Minnesota also.
Okay.
Yep. Hmm.
Minnesota. I know you cold.
I'm in the great white north.
My
Literally,
father's parents out
white
there
north.
How many days of summer do y'all get?
too.
Not two.
It's cold as hell out there.
Let's just say we started having snow last year in August.
Oh, child. I couldn't do it.
Yeah. Yeah. My father, it's so cold out there in the tundra. We had to wait until June of 22 to bury my father. He
Mm.
passed
Jeez.
in January. Because the ground was still too hard out there in
Still
Minnesota.
frozen.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's still
Sounds
frozen.
about right.
Yep. So June.
Hey,
It's
intellectual
crazy.
soapbox. But yeah. So I'm
Hello.
glad that you all came up here. Now I'm on StreamYard. I'm glad it sounds better and clear, actually.
Yeah, so
Than
your
from my
fan tried to possess me electronically with
Okay.
them static shots.
No, it didn't. It was not my
That
fan.
that fan was a guest tonight, honey. Yep. It's
Going on
her.
my legs right now. I need the fan. Y'all just don't understand.
No, I do. It's 100. It feel like it's 124 heat index the last couple days here.
No, but I'm talking about I go through hot flashes.
Oh,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm going through hot
Yeah,
flashes out here.
a whole different
Hmm.
situation.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
I'm
I know that.
taking my
Yeah.
medicine for it now. So
Right. Well, I wish you a swift
Oh,
process, sis.
I
Cause
hope that
it
it's gonna
is
last a couple of years. Huh?
it is 58 degrees outside right now with a low of
What?
47 tonight.
shoot, I think
That's
we
winter
still
time here.
90.
All my
Mm,
windows are open.
That is winter time.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. I don't like the cold. And I'm from the D. No, it's like 90, and I'm out here like, why are these crickets about to be disrespectful again?
Okay. We're dealing
Very
with the
much so.
mosquitoes and the frogs and all kind of stuff.
Yeah, snakes.
Y'all can have that.
Yeah, I don't
Tomorrow
like them
will be a
neither.
high of
But
67. I'll take it.
well,
How
that I
hot
will
is
be
it up
there
there?
soon. Well,
Minnesota.
thanks for having me up here. It was a great
Thank you for
conversation.
joining. Thank you so
Absolutely, I'm
much.
gonna
I
drop
hope you come
down.
back
I sure will.
because I'll
Sure.
be back here next Sunday
Sounds
talking
Period.
about
good.
God
Project
bless.
2025. I'll be here until the
Wait, not next. You gonna be here next Sunday? That's 4th of July weekend. You ain't gonna be out and about.
Oh, is it?
It is. 4th of July is what, Thursday?
Is it?
Tomorrow's July 1st.
Oh Lord. I didn't know that. I have to bring out my little agenda book.
You might want to be out and about rooftop. Shit.
All right. Oh yeah. So they're gonna. Okay. Well, Sunday is the 7th, but Saturday is when they're gonna be doing the firecrackers. Oh, sorry, the
Oh,
fireworks.
oh.
I say firecrackers. You know I'm old. The fireworks.
I
Thank
got
you,
you.
Stacy, for being here. I mean, maybe I'll come back on Monday.
There you go.
Well, thank you, Red, for coming through
Thank
and
you for
supporting
having
my
me.
channel. Absolutely.
Absolutely. I did hit that like button as I entered the building.
I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
I said, let me
Well,
get on my StreamYard because the last one I'm on because I still had that other stuff that y'all said.
gotcha.
But this one is
Well,
good.
thank you so much for having me. I'm sorry I was an hour late. I knew
That's
you were going to talk about Project
yes.
2025 today, yeah.
So when
But
I
I
come on,
made it.
I'll be talking about that. I knew you were talking about it during the election. I said, Red is about that Project 25, honey.
These people don't know. I had put a post on my community tab the other day with the congresswoman talking about, she was talking about one of the proposals of 2025, and she was like, these stupid ideas, and he was like, they're great ideas. Like, did you see that?
It's crazy. It's
Yeah,
scary.
it's very crazy. It is very, very crazy and
I
insane.
posted the one about the girl, the TikToker. She was talking about how they're taking away women's rights to vote. And then she placed
Mm-hmm.
that little clip. So I just took that little clip out and showed it. I just got 9 views or 19 views. I'm like, people need to wake up. You know what I'm gonna start doing? I'm gonna start hashtagging Jaguar right.
That'll really get them in.
Okay. What is this? Yes, I'm gonna get
Clickbait over here.
all
Clickbait.
day. All day. Gotta wake up, honey. Which video is it? Let me check it out.
Oh, from Congresswoman Priestley. She was um she was interviewing, I should say, cross-examining the one of the makers of the Project 2025 bill.
Is that the bald headed lady?
Yes.
I mean, what is
Yeah.
it?
I'm surprised she hasn't found something from her alopecia yet, but yes, it's her.
Oh, my bad. I thought she just shaved her hair like that.
No, she was battling with alopecia like 2 years ago or something.
Look, I don't want to get slapped. You know what I'm saying? You know, don't want to get slapped. Yeah, she's real good. She's attacking it. They have a whole a Democratic coalition.
Between her and Jasmine Crockett and AOC, they got my vote. I don't care. I'll show up.
We have to
They
get
put
out
in the
there
work.
and knock on doors too. This has to be a grassroots type of thing now that we have to get back to get people to get out here and vote because they are seriously they're trying to get Joe Biden out of there.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've seen Amanda Seals, but I was like, girl, I don't know what you need to do, but I need you to stop. Because what is going on? Like, are we sticking together or are we just going against Joe Biden because he stuttered? You know what I'm saying? What are we doing? And she knows Amanda Seals is super, super intelligent. You
Yep,
know,
she is. I don't care if that man was flagellant on that damn podium. You'll get my damn vote.
yeah, you get my vote. But they're trying to
I
ask
don't
me
care
to
if he
stop
took
her.
a nap during the debate.
Look, they said
Because
they
I
were
know the
going
people
to
behind him.
right. They said they were trying to get him to pass the 25th Amendment, and that's to get him to step down, force him to step down. I was like, Lord, here we go, because the
I'm gonna
rest
need
of the world
Kamala
is
to
burning.
step up her game.
But who's gonna vote for Kamala?
This is true too.
I'm just saying, they're not ready for a black female president.
They weren't ready for the black one,
They wasn't. They're right.
but yet they somehow, some way, say they miss him, and he was the best one ever
He
compared
was.
to the alternative.
He was. He was the
Yeah,
best one ever. He
funny
was.
how they
And Joe
miss him when
Biden
he's
is
out of
doing a
office.
good job doing what he's doing too.
Yeah.
So, well, yeah, Red, thank you for showing up. Amanda is
Yes.
very upset about Palestine as well. Amanda is the lady you were talking about, right? She's been upset with Biden way before the debate. Oh, Amanda Seals. Okay. Because she's upset about Palestine. This
Mhm.
this whole, I appreciate you all joining the military and serving for this country. But this whole Palestinian thing, my stepdaddy was Iranian.
Mhm.
So I understand um, Joe Biden uh, helping Israel because of what a lot of people don't understand is there's a lot of Jewish people that serve in the government as well, in Congress, in the House, a lot of Jews. Um, they are going to support Israel no matter who is put in office. That's just part of it. And I think you said, Stacey, it's bigger than that, right? Because it is. And so this whole thing that, you know, we just have to take one day at a time. What threw me off is that, and I was telling my husband, I wonder if this is a whole setup to get Joe Biden out of office, the Democrats out of office, because you have the Ukrainian war,
Mm-hmm.
Putin. Then all of a sudden you have this Israel attacking the Palestinian people. I said,
However,
right during a
it's
time of the
very
election time for
interesting.
them.
It's very interesting that they don't talk about the genocide of the Christians in Nigeria. And I think it's been like over 60,000 people have died, have been unalived for their religious views, but they won't talk about that.
Right,
They
right,
won't dare talk about that on national TV in the country.
right. And that's happening right now.
Yep,
Mhm.
it's crazy.
It is. So, it's a lot going on in this world. Right now, for the next 5 to 6 months, we just need to focus on what's happening here. We need to get this man elected again. That's my main, and
I
Haiti as
don't care
well.
if they have to wheel him.
Like that lady wheeled that dead man to the bank. Look,
Yep.
we need to get
Let's
by.
go, Joe. Sit your ass in this chair. Let's go.
Let's go. Avon Eric.
Because the fact that the other guy who was a threat to American democracy and is still on the damn on the ballot, and he talks about his best friends or Putin and all these other dictators
No,
around the
yeah,
world, let you know what he has in place.
exactly.
And
Exactly.
the fact that Putin and North Korea are sending weapons to Cuba so close to Florida and the government's not talking about it, that ain't blinking an eye, should be concerned.
Come on now.
They're teaming up.
Yeah. If Trump gets elected, I'm just like, my husband said, we ain't going nowhere. I'm like, oh, well, I don't know about you, but you on the colors palette. And my color is a little darker.
I'm telling you, if that man wins, I would be on Duolingo working on my Russian, trying to hop to the other side. Ain't no way.
Child.
Ain't no way.
Lord have mercy. It's gonna be anarchy in the streets, honey. Because the what you call those people? The MAGA party is talking about if he loses, if Trump
If
loses,
Trump loses, yeah.
civil war.
I was watching an interesting documentary of African Americans from America from World War One who left the states and went to Russia because Russia was offering them jobs because they were treated like crap coming back after the war. So a lot of families went to Russia.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. So there's lots of Black Russians that left America during World War One and World War Two.
What documentary is that?
Let me see if I can find it for you. What's the name of it? But it was very interesting. And then you have like these Black socialites that are Black Russians, and they talk about their family history. It was very interesting.
So they moved from the United States and moved there?
After World War One, after coming back from the war.
Okay. Look that up. Ooh, child. See, I'm having a hot flash. I'm tripping. And you're looking at me because I got my little jacket on my thing, but it's a certain. It's like I get cold and I get hot, then I get cold. Switzerland, she said Switzerland she would consider. I'm not moving to Russia either. I don't like them like that. Sorry, I should have said that. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not with the Russians. Woo, child. Well,
Thanks for having me. Once I find it, I'll send it to you and you can watch it.
yeah, you can send it to me on my IG. Yeah, do that,
Yeah.
please.
Uh-huh.
I appreciate it. Thanks, Red, for
Absolutely.
coming and
Thank you
supporting.
for having me.
And I'll see
Will
you
do.
all. I hope you come back on next Sunday, talk more about it, because I'm gonna go through this whole thing, this whole project 2025.
All right. Have a good night.
Okay,
Thanks
you
for having
too.
me. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Well, everyone, thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Stacy, for coming up. Thank you, Mel NYC, and thank you, Red Labels, for coming up and talking and even giving your story of serving in the military. I really appreciate that, and I thank you for serving this country. It means a lot to me. Um, and like I said, who's ever here, please go back, look at the beginning. The president of the Heritage Foundation had a conversation, and he's basically telling the world that they are going to push the agenda, which is Trump's agenda, they call it, and they're going to implement Project 2025 as soon as he is elected. And if you haven't heard about Project 2025, just Google it. It's there to be seen, to be read. I will be going through the full 900 pages on this channel, discussing it, and hopefully Stacy will come back and Red and Mel NYC and anybody else that wants to join to come up and talk about it, because this is a serious matter. If you are voting and if you're not voting, please, 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 please remember this is important to our civil rights, our freedoms, and our choices as both men and women, people of color, of all colors. It's important that we get out there and vote this time around, because we do not want to go backwards. We want to move forward. It's all about growing. It's all about um, being one in this country. This is America. This is what people like Stacey B fought for and Red Labels fought for, is to save our freedoms. This is what America is about. Okay. So thank you all for being here. Thank you to subscribing to this channel. If you haven't liked it, please just give me a like. Don't cost you nothing. It's free. And I appreciate you all. I love you all. You all take care. And I will see you probably Monday, since it is the 4th of July weekend. So happy 4th of July. And I will see you uh, this weekend, or maybe Sunday, Monday. Okay. Y'all have a good night. Love you. Stay safe. Peace out.